CFAX Victoria,
an iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 6 o'clock, Friday, July 24th. Steve in for one last single solitary day for Ryan. Chance of another thunderstorm overnight. Time for CFAX 1070 News. Here's Lisa Best.
A very unusual weather activity. Storms rolling across Greater Victoria last night, late afternoon, shaking and rattling windows with the lightning and thunder. And of course, with that, we've had new fires spark. BC Wildfire Update has 89 active wildfires province-wide, 15 new starts in the last 24 hours. 44 are considered out of control, and that includes 3 new fires burning on Vancouver Island. All are well under a hectare in size at this point. One is very visible from the Trans-Canada Highway up the Malahat. It's burning in Goldstream Provincial Park. We'll have more on that as we move forward through the day. Meanwhile, photos of giant cauliflower-like clouds are popping up on social media feeds. Experts say the pyrocumulus clouds are produced by wildfire more than 200 kilometers away on the mainland. UBC Assistant Professor of Atmospheric Sciences Rachel White says the crazy fact that these fires can produce their own weather systems that may involve thunder with lightning could, of course, spark even more wildfires, strangely enough. Scenes from that dramatic rescue off the Washington State coast last night between us and Washington State. A seaplane crashing just off the coast in the San Juan Islands, forcing the 11 people into the water.
Officials say that Kenmore Air flight took off at 4:30 p.m. from Lake Union Thursday for a scenic flight tour bound for Roche Harbor on San Juan Island. It crashed at 5:15 p.m. Investigators are now working to determine what forced the pilot to attempt an emergency landing in Shallow Bay on Susha Island. Kenmore Air CEO says in a statement, "We are grateful that everyone aboard has been accounted for, and our immediate focus is ensuring our passengers and pilot receive the care and support they need."
Photos and video posted to the CFAX Twitter feed shows boaters who were nearby catching the dramatic plane crash on camera and then rushing to the aid of the 11 on board. The plane eventually went up in flames on the rocks. Busy travel day. BC Ferry is already looking at brisk business today. And Highway 3 in the mainland remains closed to drivers if you've got a road trip plan, hoping to go to Hope. Wildfire smoke continues to impact visibility and public health in that area. Highway 3 remains closed between Hope Slide and Sunshine Valley area, about 8 kilometers west of Manning Park Lodge, with overhead signs and messages alerting you of the closure. Keep watch on those signs because they're always up to date. The closure will remain in place until it's safe to reopen. The Highway 3 closures, in addition to the closure of Highway 1 near Boston Bar. The Cook remains open, the only major route open on the southern interior. However, construction work is also happening on that route, so you may expect more delays. Prime Minister Mark Carney and Canada's premiers emerging from a meeting in PEI with optimism and a new plan for the next 27 days as officials deal with the latest threats and trade tactics from the U.S. president. And it was the first we've heard of our country's views on retaliating if those tariffs actually take effect.
With a strong plan, Team Canada, led by the Prime Minister.
First Ministers emerged united and with new resolve.
We're ready. We're ready because we've been focusing on what we can control.
Carney says he sees the current deadline as both a potential endgame, but also just another U.S. pressure tactic.
Everything's on the table if there's no agreement, depending on the outcome of the negotiations. We don't need to respond in advance.
The Canadian government previously told the Trump administration that combating forced labor and supply chains could shield Canada from new tariffs. Centre BC recently appointing Mike Bernier, who we heard on CFAX earlier this week, as its new leader, who says his party will give voters a more moderate choice.
The former BC Liberal cabinet minister says he returned to politics because of growing polarization in the province. Former Premier Christy Clark says voters are caught between what she calls BC's worst government and an unelectable Conservative leader, arguing there is room for a centrist party. Now, independent MLA Eleanor Sturko says hundreds of thousands of voters are politically homeless, but Centre BC must build a strong organization supported by donations. Now, the BC Conservatives say the province's political culture and first-past-the-post electoral system reinforce a two-party divide. David Augustine, The Canadian Press.
And Prime Minister Mark Carney admits he did not clearly explain the toll-sharing agreement tied to the Gordie Howe International Bridge that connects Windsor to Detroit. Canada will give the U.S. half of net toll revenue for 15 years, while a separate Michigan agreement takes effect only after the construction debt is repaid. Opposition parties accuse Carney of misleading Canadians and are seeking parliamentary investigation into the deal. Speaking on this, the Prime Minister says he could have done better.
Could I have explained it better on a Sunday morning at Stampede? Yeah, with a cowboy hat on? Yes, I could have explained it better. And I explained it better in London, Ontario at GDLS, but I appreciate the opportunity.
The bridge is scheduled to open Monday following a Canada-only ceremony amid the worsening trade tensions we have with Washington. That is your news to 6:06. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question today. We're talking about tariffs and bans. Do you agree with BC's ongoing ban of keeping American alcohol out of provincially run liquor stores? About 79% saying yes on our website. That number dropped slightly to 65% saying yes on Twitter X. You can also vote in the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Sebastian News Time, 6:07.
Thank you, Lisa. Weather forecast for Greater Victoria. Mainly sunny today. Winds from the east 20, except west 50 near the Juan de Fuca Strait this afternoon. A high near 23. 19 where the winds blow onshore. Humidex going to make it feel like 27. Few clouds tonight. Increasing cloudiness late this evening with a 30% chance of showers overnight. Risk of a thunderstorm as well with a low near 15. Cloudy tomorrow and a little windy. High near 19. Cloudy with a 70% chance of showers on Sunday with a high near 18. Right now in downtown Victoria, it's 13 degrees. And if my mouse will let me, freed up. Friday morning sports. A little sign of hope for Blue Jay fans. Shane Bieber pitched to Gem as Toronto ended a 4-game skid at home with a 3-1 victory over Tampa Bay. The Jays head to Boston for the weekend. The Mariners were off yesterday and head to Texas. Victoria Harbour Cats have won the Island Cup over their rivals from Nanaimo, finishing off a 3-game sweep with an 18-7 win last night. Harbour Cats began a 3-game series at home against Kamloops tonight at Royal Athletic Park. A barn burner in the CFL last night. Edmonton edged Saskatchewan 36-34 on a last-second field goal. Don't forget we have Lions football here on CFAX tomorrow as they host the Argos. Patrick Kane returning to the Blackhawks. It's a 2-year deal. The Royals' Ludwig Perreault's been invited to Team Canada camp for the Gretzky Halinka Cup. And Pacific FC hoping to get their first win of the season on Sunday on the road in Ottawa. 6:10 here at CFAX 1070. It's shaping up to be a very busy day at the ferry terminal, and we say that because the 6 o'clock sailing went off on time, but it was completely full. So if you haven't made a reservation yet, you might want to make one just in case. There's lots of room on the 7 o'clock right now, 35%, but there are some sailings that might not be available later on. The 4 o'clock only has 3%, and the 7 o'clock only has 7% available deck space. Meanwhile, at the airport, we have some delays. WestJet 3322 to Vancouver, scheduled to go at 6:30, delayed till 9:50 this morning. Pacific Coastal HP 100, scheduled to go to Vancouver at 7:45, delayed till 8:06. And Pacific Coastal 8P 1531 to Kelowna, scheduled to go at 7:55, now delayed till 8:50 this morning. On the highways, I don't see any delays at this point. Look for those construction signs. They are going to do the paving work through Island Highway and View Royal today. That'll be between 9 and 3, and it'll be single alternating lane traffic through there. Here's Monica Nelson with your consumer and business news.
Far fewer Americans than expected found themselves filing first-time requests for unemployment benefits last week. The Labor Department says it received 187,000 initial filings in the week ending July 18th. That marks a decline of 22,000 from the previous week's revised total. Chick-fil-A says accounts from its loyalty program were affected last month when unauthorized bad actors launched an automated attack. Wendy Swanson with more.
Its Chick-fil-A One program was hacked using credentials obtained from a third-party source. The sensitive information included the last 4 digits of card numbers and saved details like birthdays, email, addresses, and passwords. Chick-fil-A wrote in a letter sent to customers on July 20th that as soon as they learned of the breach, they forced logouts on affected accounts and removed any saved payment methods. The company also restored affected Chick-fil-A One balances and added extra rewards to customer accounts. Regardless, customers are urged to reset password.
And at least 6 Save-A-Lot grocery stores in the Chicago area may be closing permanently as early as this weekend. Perry Williams with more.
This resident who was at the store on 79th and Halstead says the shutdown would create a food desert in the community.
You have to think about those that are on fixed income, like the elderly people. It's affordable for them. It's closed. It's accessible. So I really think it would be really detrimental to shut this store down.
The grocery chain contacted city officials stating that it expects to terminate its license agreement with its parent company, Yellow Banana, at the end of the month. City leaders cite the possible closure to SNAP benefit reductions and the recent death of Yellow Banana CEO Joe Canfield.
And the U.S. Bureau of Labor Stats finds more workers ages 55 and older are stepping away from the workforce, especially women. New labor data is showing fewer older women are working or actively looking for work compared to recent years. Economists say the trend could make it harder for employers to fill jobs and replace experienced workers. I'm Monica Nelson with your consumer and business news.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
6:13 here at CFAX 1070.
Want to brace yourself for this? Brace yourself. Right?
It was more like this. Flash of light.
That never happens for us.
The one really shook me. I'm because I'm not far from Goldstream Provincial Park.
Okay.
So I think I heard the one that started the fire.
Oh, quite possibly.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I heard that was the one I heard.
We had one in Cracker in Fairfield that shook the windows, and I thought that is really too close for comfort.
Yeah.
So the sky was black across most of Greater Victoria. Anyone who was driving, because it was 4:30 in the afternoon when it really started hitting with vengeance, turn on your headlights when that happens, because it gets dark pretty quick and people can't see, and there's pedestrians still out there, and a lot of cars driving around. Everybody drives a silver, white, or black car nowadays. You can't see it. So, turn on your headlights. Don't be afraid to turn on your headlights. And if something's a hazard, put your flashers on. That always gets people's attention.
It was,
yeah.
It was loud.
It was long, too. We had a series of them roll through, which we never, we used to run outside from the grocery store going, thunder, that's so unique. Now we're huddling in a fetal position going, stop.
I have a picture of you now.
Wow. It was like a camera that went off in my place. I'm like, oh, that's really close. And then I braced for it, but it still scared me. Tell us what happened with you and the thunder and lightning. I don't know your stories. Because I know everybody's got stories.
I was going to put that out as one thing. And the other thing I was going to put out is we're a month into summer.
Yes, we are.
Have you had a memorable summer moment yet?
Oh. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, is there something that stands out that you've done since, and, we don't have to go exactly by the date. Mm-hmm. Let's go May 24 on, because I always think of May 24.
So in the last 2 months.
Yeah, as the official start of summer. But is there something that stands out that, this
Beyond
was really
tariffs.
Cool. Yeah, this is really cool. A little piece of positivity.
Right. Okay.
Because it's been kind of a, lackluster week.
Lackluster. Don't tempt it, because we have 4 new fires on the island. So when you say it's a quiet, lackluster week, things go sideways.
Yes, exactly. That's my point. And so we're going to lift up the community a little bit.
Okay. Buoy everybody up.
Yes. By the way, special thanks to all those boaters that rushed to the aid of the Kenmore
Wasn't that
airplane.
something?
Thank you.
And the plane was smoking at the time.
Yeah.
And there was already a boat there. Like people, I don't know if the pilot realized that I better put it down where there's some boats that people can come to our rescue. We don't know what happened yet, but wow. Very dramatic.
The timing coincides with those thunderstorms rolling through.
Yeah. So the plane may have been hit.
Yep.
It was, and it shows it on the map too, doing kind of a hook in the air. So maybe he tried to get to safety.
Yeah. So that's my theory anyway, and obviously it's not proven or anything. But I will give the U.S. Coast Guard out of Port Angeles major props, because I logged on and watched it go make a beeline from there. Another helicopter came across from Bellingham, so they had support as quick as possible for that event. So hats off to all the people.
Very dramatic. And hopefully everybody's okay. I mean, I know there were some injuries, but that could have been a lot worse, because we actually have video of it, more or less video of it coming down. It was hidden partially by a sailboat as it come down, but still extremely dramatic to watch.
One more tidbit for you.
Yeah.
This is a teaser for later on the program.
Such a tease.
We have a Jimothy update.
Of course we do.
We have. I know. I don't want to.
What?
You're all excited by this, so you need to keep listening. It's like the when we have a prize.
Oh, you're not going to tell us right now?
No, I'm saving Jimothy for the right moment.
Your Jimothy tease coming up. Okay.
And one more thing.
What? You have a lot of things today.
Well, I want to get this out there. Do you know what you and Ryan are giving away next week?
Yes.
Did you look?
Well, stuff.
Meat.
Oh. Was that out there yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Glenwood meats. We're giving away meat next week.
We're promoting this now?
I got the little memo.
You got the okay? I didn't see the okay yet. I didn't know if it was like sealed in some case somewhere, as we like to, hermetically seal our bell secrets away.
No, I got the email from the promotions department saying that you and Ryan are giving away meat.
So sounds so unattractive, doesn't it? Poor Glenwood. Now Glenwood officials are in a fetal position going, stop saying it like that. Yeah, Glenwood meets the destination location, right? Langford, close to you.
I know, exactly.
And we are. Because you know what? Putting food on the table, putting meat on the table, the sticker shock of just buying a steak nowadays, or whatever you want to have, because it's going to be yours to do, $100 gift certificate if you win.
There you go.
Pretty cool.
Here's Lisa with the late news headlines.
We're here. RCMP say they are supporting Vic PD's decision to withdraw from an integrated Vancouver Island unit targeting major crimes in the region. RCMP Superintendent Val Hansra said in a statement that Vic PD was a founding member of that unit in 2007 and has been an outstanding member of the unit for 18 years. Answer adds that RCMP will continue to work closely with VicPD on public safety, regardless of their participation in the integrated unit. VicPD announced yesterday, of course, that they're pulling out of the unit and taking over homicide cases in the city and, of course, in Esquimalt as well, citing crime rates and resource efficiencies as factors in the decision. A BC wildfire update. We have 89 active wildfires, 15 new starts in the last 24 hours. 3 of those are fires here on Vancouver Island. 44 fires considered out of control, including those 3. All are well under a hectare in size, so crews are doing a good battle on those. But one is quite visible from TCH Malahat as you're coming off. It's burning in Goldstream Provincial Park, so be aware of that. And a high note for Jackie the Bald Eagle continues to recover after receiving a life-saving blood transfusion. Officials at the Raptor Center in California say the raptor remains bright and strong, receiving intensive care. The center also says she's eating well, perching. She was rescued last weekend after a fight with 2 younger birds. She was found to be already sick, suffering anemia. Testing has not determined the cause, but they ruled out the presence of foreign objects and toxicosis. Her inflamed kidneys have also improved. You know Jackie because she and her partner Shadow are famous after years of appearing on a Nest Cam in Big Bear, California. But of course, just as famous as Jimothy is. That's your news, 2621.
Checking traffic, no delays on any of the highways and byways around Greater Victoria to speak of. The next available sailing out of the ferry terminal coming up at 7 o'clock this morning. It has 30% available deck space. There's hourly sailings today right through until 9 p.m.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
Grab the tongs and get the big barbecue ready because we're doing a good old-fashioned meat draw. Ryan and Lisa will pick a secret raffle number each weekday morning starting on Monday at 8:10 between 1 and 100. Guess the number, text it in, and if you're right, you'll win that $100 gift card to Glenwood Meats. Details are available at cfax1070.com.
We put our minds together and said, what do we need to give away? This time of year, everybody wants something for the barbecue. And food is the price it is. So we're trying to help you out.
We're giving $500 worth of meat.
It's good.
It's a lot of meat.
Oh, well, get to go to Glenwood Meats, look like a rock star walking in with that gift certificate. They'll know your name.
Correct.
Right? Fame.
So a thunderstorm. We're getting some email in already.
Oh, yeah.
Text us at 71010. We put two things out there. Your thoughts about the thunderstorm, and also if there's been a memorable moment so far in your summer. Happy Friday, Steve and Lisa. It's been a rough week for Chunky the Death Cat. First, she almost got run over by a duck. Then the thunderstorm yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
The first flash and then the peal of thunder shot her right into the house. For a cat whose width is the same as her length, I don't think she could move that fast.
She went aerodynamic for a moment.
Good morning, Steve and Lisa. Maybe it was our loved ones having a bowling party and they all had their rolling balls and they all got a strike. Hope you have a great day from both of you.
I love that. Look, God's bowling. It was loud and long.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't just one crack and done.
No, and
everyone was reporting at once from every community. Jade had her hands full yesterday afternoon.
Did she?
Oh, yeah, because it was traffic, and traffic was getting bogged down. Between the construction and then that hitting, it was pretty crazy on the roads. And it was dark all of a sudden. People weren't ready for that. The rain came down really hard, like big, fat drops of rain at first.
That part.
And we don't normally get that. So all kind of new things for us in prairies and other areas in Ontario and Quebec. They're used to that. But here, when you don't get it for a while, you forget how dramatic it can be.
It's true. By the way, we both did an experiment yesterday.
Did we?
So, and your traffic segue was well placed. We counted the number of construction zones we went through on a couple of our trips of the day.
Oh, you did. I forgot.
You forgot?
Well, see, okay, so...
I gave you one assignment?
In my defense, my other assignment was working with a student at Camosun.
Okay.
And then we heard the crack of thunder. It's like, maybe we should put the bike away in the metal trailer. So...
I asked you to do one thing. The whole 2 weeks here.
I have failed you. But you counted.
I did.
You counted.
So there was two trips yesterday. First one was the trip from Esquimalt to Langford. And I classified this as separate zones that included a sign or a pylon. Okay? That's how I defined this.
Okay.
How many zones do you think I went through between Esquimalt and Langford?
From Esquimalt to Langford. Which route did you take? Did you take Admirals up there?
I did.
Okay. 5?
9.
Oh, no.
9.
Oh.
Because they were actually doing construction around my car where I had parked it. So it started even before I had turned the key. So 9.
Wow.
9. Okay. And then I went downtown.
Yeah.
Bagel run.
Yeah, of course. Oh, you went back. Oh, so you counted again.
So, yes, I started from scratch because it was 2 or 3 hours later.
Right.
I made a little nappy and then got back in the car. Nappies are so good. 5 between Langford and downtown. Of course, like you have, I counted the work
Just
on
5.
the Trans-Canada.
Okay. Yes, as one big one. Okay.
1.
Yeah.
So 5.
That's a doozy, that one.
So what leads me to believe is there's so much of the little work going on
Yeah.
that you have to get off of your usual route that you run into other things.
What do you mean?
So I couldn't go my regular way down to Admirals, take a right on Admirals and head. I had to turn my car around to get out of the construction zone it was parked in. Don't get me started. Anyway, then
This sounds like a major project.
Then I went down to, I'm not as good with the names, and I made a left, and then that took me into a second construction zone, and then I made another left. So those were 3 construction zones I wouldn't have normally encountered before I even got to the old barn market.
Because you were trying to avoid the other construction zones.
Yes.
Yeah, I find that happens a lot when you're trying to avoid one set of cones. You end up turning the corner and running into another set.
9.
Wow.
That's a lot. I'm sorry.
If you're on your drive today, count for us and let us know how many you run into.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
It's a really interesting, because we were doing this thing all week about the number of pylons and construction zones. Actually putting it to the test and getting a number, Yeah.
I kind of liked the storm yesterday. It took my mind off the drive, which is why I failed in the experiment with you. I was more focused on, dealing with other drivers and,
Surviving life?
well, it's just, waiting for the next crack of thunder.
Yes.
Right? So it's like, grander. There it is. Just like that.
Lisa's going to talk about the thunder and lightning right after these.
This summer, 3 of Vancouver Island's biggest voices are coming together to make a real difference.
Get your tickets now for the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50.
Brought to you by 107.3 Virgin Radio, CFAX 1070, and CTV.
In support of CFAX Santa's Anonymous all-new Kids Count program, supporting children beyond Christmas.
The Mega Summer 50-50.
Your chance to win big while giving back.
Buy your tickets today at CFAX1070.com.
Gaming event license 174660. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 6:32 here at CFAX 1070 at CTV Vancouver Island. Steve in for Ryan. One last day. Chance of another thunderstorm overnight. Time for CFAX 1070 News. Here's Lisa Best.
Thunder brings lightning, or maybe it's the other way around. Either way, we have new fires here on Vancouver Island. One is the most visible in the southern Vancouver Island area is off the TCH Malahat. It's actually burning the Goldstream Provincial Park. That one is well under a hectare in size at 0.09 of a hectare. The other two are the same size. They're further up island, but we do have 3 to 4 new fires sparking on Vancouver Island due to lightning, and we may be in for a little bit more action from the heavens coming into the weekend, so we have to be prudent with our fire use. The BC Wildfire Update, 89 active wildfires, 15 new starts in the last 24 hours, 44 considered out of control, including 3 new fires here on the island. And of course, once again, those are all under well under hectare in size. Elsewhere, thousands of people in Spain and southern France evacuating their homes. Multiple fires raging out of control in Europe. Spain's government declaring a national emergency after fires forced the evacuation of some 20,000 people in the central region of Madrid. France's interior minister says 63,000 people have been evacuated as a precautionary measure to protect residents from the flames. Spain and France have asked both fellow European Union members for help moving forward. A recently formed political party in BC brands itself as socially progressive and responsible choice, but even supporters of the new leader says the upstart faces obstacles to break the two-party nature of the province's politics. Centre BC recently appointed Mike Bernier as its new leader, who says the party will give voters a more moderate choice. Bernier, who was in education under former BC Liberal Premier Christy Clark, says he thought he was done with politics, as he said earlier this week on CFAX, but he changed his mind when he saw what was going on, the polarization, he calls it, in provincial politics. The U.S. Trade Representative's office announced new duties on more than 60 nations hours before the U.S. president's previous tariff tool was set to expire. Canadian press reporter Diana Messina has details.
Canada, Mexico, and the U.K. are among the countries getting hit with a 10% tariff, while other nations are seeing a 12.5% levy. But the new tariffs will not apply to goods compliant under the CUSMA agreement. The Trump administration launched trade investigations earlier this year after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down the tariff tool used for the Liberation Day and fentanyl-related duties.
The Canadian government previously told the Trump administration that new legislation combating forced labor and supply chains could shield Canada from these new tariffs. After 13 nights of attacks on Iran, the U.S. military may soon be ordered to dramatically increase the attacks. The president tells Axios he's considering a bigger attack. He says he's close to making a decision.
Sources tell ABC News one option under consideration is a return to the kind of full-scale strikes seen in the opening days of the war. The conflict is already expanding, with Iranian-backed Houthi rebels attacking 2 Saudi oil tankers in the Red Sea, choking another key waterway.
And unpacking what happened in the San Juan Islands yesterday, investigators with the NTSB and the FAA have begun the search into the potential cause of that seaplane crash that injured several people, prompting a major emergency response. The plane, videotaped from nearby boats seen flying low before crash landing into the rocks and eventually bursting into flames, something ABC News aviation analyst John Nance says came from that hard impact.
Most likely what happened was the tanks were breached as the airplane augered in, and what you saw was an ignition point.
Luckily, there were boaters nearby. They helped rescue the 11 on board before the plane caught on fire. And that's your news to 6:36. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking you if you agree with BC's continued ban on U.S. alcohol sales at government-run liquor stores. About two-thirds, just over two-thirds, saying yes on our website. You can vote, CFAX1070.com, also the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 6:38.
We're getting a lot of questions about, especially the wildfire close to Victoria from Goldstream Provincial Park. So I thought we'd take a moment just to bring everybody up to date with the information we have about each one of these new starts in particular. So it's listed as out of control, and it's 0.009 hectares, the one in Goldstream. And the response from the Wildfire Service says wildfire crews are assigned to this incident with support from aviation resources. There's no immediate threat to critical infrastructure or public safety. Now, until they get to a certain point, they say out of control, even when it is this small. So don't be alarmed by that out of control thinking. The pictures that they've shared,
thinking it's large,
on the website show a very small, and it does show the smoke coming out of it. Their last update was 8:57. We're keeping an eye on it hour by hour, because we're just as interested as you are,
of course,
about this situation. There's a second fire very close to Shawnigan Lake. And it one is already listed as being held.
Right.
You might be seeing some smoke from that one as well. It was also discovered yesterday and is thought to be caused by lightning. And they've assigned wildfire crews to that event with support from aviation services as well. And I'm sure the people in Central Saanich actually have a pretty good view because it's kind of northwest of Spectacle Lake Provincial Park.
Yes.
Just off Shawnigan Lake Road. So that one may be obvious. And if you're up in Port Alberni, in this little area of Port Alberni, just outside Port Alberni, I think there's been like 3 or 4 fires so far this summer in that one little area, because it's very close to the town site, which is very interesting. And getting the details up on the screen here. It's just off Highway 4. So if you're headed to Tofino today, you're going to notice this one. I'm looking for a street name so you get a really good idea. It's not too far from the railway, and it's kind of behind Export Road and Elkford Road in the Port Alberni areas. Okay. So, and it's the exact same size as the one in Goldstream Provincial Park at 0.009
Yeah, all
hectares.
the new ones, they're calling it that size, which is, a couple of acres maybe in size. So
yeah,
they do call it out of control until they get a handle on it. So it doesn't mean it's a huge fire. It just means they don't know where it's going to go next, and they just not being held. And so until that, so let's hope that all of these turn yellow and then green eventually on the map. But we're keeping watch on the map. And also, if you got photos yourself, share.
Yeah, and if you see something or have anything to contribute, by all means, 71010. We love to hear from you, and you often point us in the right direction, which is always appreciated as well. Weather forecast for Greater Victoria, mainly sunny today. Winds from the east 20, except west 50 near the Juan de Fuca Strait this afternoon. High near 23. Few clouds tonight, low down to 15. There's a risk of showers and then even a thunderstorm overnight, with that low near 15. Cloudy tomorrow, a little bit windy with a high near 19, and cloudy with a 70% chance of showers on Sunday with a high near 18. Right now, downtown, 13 degrees. Checking sports, Blue Jays 3-1 winners over Tampa Bay yesterday. The Mariners were off. The Harbor Cats win the Island Cup this season over Nanaimo, finishing off a 3-game sweep up Island with an 18-7 win last night. CFL final, Edmonton edging Saskatchewan 36-34 on a last-second field goal. .643 here at CFAX 1070. Things getting a little slow on the Trans-Canada Victoria bound around Island Highway. Nothing major, just slowing down just a little bit at the ferry terminal. The next available sailing at 7 o'clock has 27% available deck space. And we have 3 delays at the airport, including WestJet 3322 to Vancouver. It was scheduled to go at 6:30 this morning. It's delayed till 9:50. Here's what happened in the business world yesterday.
Bay Street came tumbling down yesterday after seeing increases all week. Toronto's S&P TSX lost 292 points, closing at 35,193. In New York, the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 507 points. Even worse, the Nasdaq fell 553. Asian markets were taking a bit of a hit this morning as well, with Japan's Nikkei shedding more than 1,811 points. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong closing down 248. Canada and Ecuador are set to sign a new free trade deal today in Ottawa, though several Canadian organizations and civil society leaders have pushed back against the idea, warning that such a deal could threaten the environment and worsen a human rights crisis in the South American country. And an industry group representing community newspapers says Canada Post is helping to drive some of them out of business thanks to a new partnership it forged with the country's largest printing firm. As for the loonie, it's trading at 71.03 cents U.S. From the Canadian Press Business Desk, I'm Rob Westgate.
Let's get started. Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Need a cab? Download the new Bluebird Cabs app at bluebirdcabs.ltd. Bluebird Cabs, proudly local and Canadian owned and run since 1946. Here's Lisa with your news headlines.
Thanks, Steve. Looking at the fire situation in BC, we currently have 89 active fires. A number of new starts here on Vancouver Island, mostly due to the lightning that ran through our southern part of Vancouver Island yesterday. Firefighters facing hot, dry conditions while fires continuing to spread on the mainland. BC Fire says the 59 Creek wildfire, which is burning out of control northwest of Clinton, has grown now to 102 square kilometers in size. In Boston Bar, the fire there is now surrounding the Fraser Canyon community. It's large enough to start creating its own weather system, so weird clouds are hovering above that fire. 44 fires in BC considered out of control, including 3 new small fires on Vancouver Island. All are well under a hectare in size. The closest to Greater Victoria is the one visible in the TCH Malahat. It's burning in Gold Street and Provincial Park. Another smaller fire on the southern tip of Shawnigan Lake is considered being held. That one also discovered last night. The U.S. president's latest tariff hike has provoked heated objections from the U.S. Trading Partners Administration last night, announcing extra tariffs now, anywhere from 10 to 12.5% on 60 different countries, including ours. The new duties will not apply to goods compliant under the Canada-U.S.-Mexico Agreement on Trade, so it's not expected to affect the tariff regime Canada's been under since February. Canada is also being slammed by Trump's separate tariffs on sectors of steel, aluminum, autos, and cabinetry. Prime Minister Mark Carney has said everything's now on the table if Canada can't secure a deal to avoid a dramatic escalation in U.S. levies. And the European Commission says TikTok has not adequately protected children's privacy rights on its platform by allowing adults to view the accounts of minors. The Commission said the action exposed children to cyberbullying, unwanted contact, and predatory behavior. The investigation comes on the heels of back-to-back crackdowns on big tech by Brussels, which has led the world in regulating tech behemoths, including Meta and Apple. If the Commission is unsatisfied when TikTok responds, it could issue a so-called non-compliance decision and possible fine worth 6% of the company's total annual revenue. That is your news to 647.
You've heard the chaos. Now you can see it. Oh my God. Watch all your favorite podcasts from start to finish right inside the free iHeartRadio app. Gets the blood going, huh? Catch every laugh and eye roll on shows like the Tom Green Farmcast and Park the Bus. Now with full video.
We're building a ramp for Tony Hawk.
It's the same hosts and the same chemistry with all the hilarious moments you've been missing right on your screen.
Cheers.
Open the free iHeartRadio app, search video podcasts, and tap watch.
Coming up to 6:50 here on CFAX 1070, checking things at the ferry terminal. The 6 o'clock sailing was completely full when it left, but there's 25% available deck space on the 7 o'clock sailing. Hourly sailings right through until 9 o'clock tonight. Some congested ones. The 4 o'clock only has 3%. There's only 8% on both the 5 and the 2 o'clock, 9% on the noon and 1 o'clock. So plan accordingly. The 8 has the most available deck space of the entire day, sitting at 43%. I see no delays on the highways in and around Greater Victoria.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Canadian Blood Services says it's facing a summertime slump in donations with demand for all blood types in all provinces. Lisa, of course, had that story yesterday, so we wanted to get to the bottom of the situation locally with event coordinator Patricia Wilms joining us to discuss. Good morning, Patricia. Welcome to CFAX.
Good morning to you, Steve. Thanks so much for having me.
I know we hate to have these calls because it usually means something is gone a little bit awry, and we need to stimulate the good listenership around making donations. So does the same blanket demand that Canada Blood Services is seeing nationally apply here on the island as well?
It does, Steve, and we are actually already seeing the community step up. Yesterday, so many more people came up, and we need them to do that because basically what I think that we'd want your listeners to know is that the blood supply has decreased by nearly 20% since June. And so that means we have limited days of quite a lot of blood types on hand, and that obviously isn't sustainable for patient care. The thing I would say is what is normal is that we do see a seasonal decline in donations, but this year, for some reason, appointment bookings have fallen well below. So we've got same-day appointments, walk-ins available at a lot of donor centers, so we're just asking all eligible donors to come in and fill every donation chair to replenish the supply.
Patricia, something I learned yesterday that I didn't realize is the short shelf life that blood has.
That's right. So blood has a shelf life of only 42 days. So you can see that we need that continuous supply. And right now, really all blood types are needed because people often ask, what do you need right now? And we have limited days on hand of several. So every donation that the donors come out to make will help strengthen the blood supply.
Now I'm sure you usually get donations less than a little bit just because people get so busy in the summer and there's vacations and all that stuff. But is this markedly different?
It is. We would need about 18,000 booked appointments across the country to keep pace with the hospital demand so that we ensure patients have what they need. But I'd say, I believe it's over the last 6 weeks, we've seen appointments fall short by anywhere between 1,500 to 2,500 a week. So that's really unusual. So, people are into different routines right now, but we really are encouraging everyone who is eligible and those who've been considering it to book an appointment to come in to see us at one of our donor centers.
Patricia, with all of our lives being extremely busy, more so than ever, how long does it actually take from when you step in the door to when you leave to give blood?
That's a great question, Lisa. I would say we are trying to have people in and out within 3/4 of an hour. If we're not particularly busy, I know there's some people who can get out in 35 minutes or so. So it is a short commitment of time to make a life-saving impact.
And you've been creative about making it more easy to make a donation in terms of times, getting into some weekends and all those kind of things.
You're right, Steve. We do try to have our donor events reflect the times that our donors are available. So we're trying to have more weekend appointments available. We've increased to every Saturday here in Victoria at the Victoria Donor Centre. We're also around in a lot of communities across the island doing mobile events.
Is it just blood or is plasma a factor of this, right?
It is. We currently don't have the ability to collect plasma on the island, but we do at several donor centers across the province and indeed across the country. And so we need donors, well, basically for plasma and blood all across the country to come out. And if people can't donate right now, like you're heading off on a holiday or something like that, we would just encourage people to do it in the days, weeks, and even over the summer. And when you do, come bring a friend, double your impact.
That was well played.
10% discount if you bring a friend.
Exactly, right? More cookies, more juice.
There you
What
go.
kind of cookies you got? Just asking for a friend.
Oh, asking? Yes, your friend would probably like to know we have Oreos.
What?
We have all kinds of things, but Oreos seem to be the biggest hit.
Yeah.
So
that's worth the price of admission.
I want to put myself in the shoes of somebody who's never donated blood, and they're hearing this right now.
Right.
Where would they get questions answered about the commitment that they're about to make?
Sure. You know what? Our website is a great source of information. We also have a Give Blood app that can answer a lot of questions. We've got even a basic eligibility question on both of those platforms. And at any point, our team at our National Contact Center is available to answer questions. So they can just call 1-888 to donate for that.
What's the turnaround time from taking blood to when it can actually be used?
You know what? We see that blood that is taken is going to be making an impact within days.
Wow.
We have one from a texter, and I think you already answered this, but just to make it clear for the texter, can you walk in and give blood? Making appointments for me are difficult.
Yes, absolutely. We always have same-day appointments available, and right now, obviously, with our blood supply in the shape that it is, we are accepting walk-ins. So we welcome your texter to come and see us when it's convenient.
Any local ones that you wanted to highlight for us?
Sure. Yeah, we have the Victoria Donor Center, and for anyone who doesn't know where we're at, we're across from Uptown on Saanich Road, 3449. We're open there Tuesday through Saturday every week, and we've got our hours Tuesday to Thursday are 11 to 6 p.m., and then Friday, Saturday, we're a little bit earlier, 8:30 to 3:30. I did have a look at our picture in Victoria this morning, and we've got over 100 appointments available between today and tomorrow.
Wow.
And we've got over 350 open next week. So come see us, book one of those, bring a family member or a friend, and I would say to people, come experience what you get when you give.
Try to run them out of Oreos.
Well, there's that too.
Make it your mission. That's right.
I always remember you. And it happens frequently when I see an ambulance go by. I always think of it. It's like, who are you rescuing today by giving blood? Right?
Absolutely. I think of the same thing. So if people are eligible, you can check that online. Give us a call if you have questions. But if you can donate now, patients really need you so that we can, keep up on patient care and that it's not impacted. We want to reverse this trend.
Thank you so much for joining us. You're doing important work on behalf of the community, and it is appreciated. That's local event coordinator Patricia Wilms from the Red Cross. Thanks again.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7:01 at CFAX 1070 at CTV Vancouver Island. Steve subbing for Ryan for one last single solitary day. Chance of a thunderstorm overnight. Time for CFAX 1070 News. Here's Lisa Best.
Thank you, Stephen. Good morning. We begin on the water. Investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board in the U.S. and the FAA are beginning their search into the potential cause of that seaplane crash late yesterday afternoon off the coast of southern Vancouver Island in the San Juan Islands. It injured several people and prompted a major emergency response.
The plane skimming low over the water before heading straight into the rocky shoreline. That smoking de Havilland Otter seaplane disabled on the rocks.
Just stay there.
Its nose in the air as passengers race to escape the cabin, climbing to safety. Authorities say the 10 passengers on board and the pilot all survived, but several were hurt, including one person now in critical condition.
We've got to thank boaters nearby. They who witnessed the crash. They also helped rescue 11 on board before the plane went up in flames. On the upside of flight travel, WestJet is offering customers set to fly ahead of a possible strike in less than 10 days by airlines' flight attendants this summer. That's to start as early as August 2nd. They're giving them a chance to make a one-time change to their booking without fees.
The Canadian airline says the flexible travel policy applies to those planning to travel between July 30th and August 4th. WestJet flight attendants could go on strike as soon as August 2nd if they're unable to reach a new deal. The airline says talks with the union continue to progress, and it's optimistic that it can reach an agreement. But it says it's committed to giving customers certainty, so it's offering them the flexibility to make travel decisions that best meet their needs. Brenda Molina Navidad, The Canadian Press.
After meeting with the country's premiers yesterday, Mark Carney vowed everything's on the table if the U.S. moves ahead with a plan to tariff us 50% on many things as of August 19th. But the Prime Minister also says we need to know whether or not those tariffs will take effect. Canada won't detail exactly how it will respond if it does happen in days from now. CTV's Rachel says the tariff talk only intensified yesterday.
This optimism came just hours before the White House made good on another threat, leveling new 10% forced labor tariffs on Canada and other countries.
We had a discussion. It will be, look, it's news, but it's not unexpected what's happening there. Okay, it's part of the bigger puzzle.
Other nations are pushing back against the tariffs, with Australia calling them unjustified. Japan saying it's been reassured there will be no further tariffs in its trade deal reached with the U.S. earlier this year. All this developments comes as Canadian officials try to celebrate the opening of the new Gordie Howe Bridge without any U.S. officials in attendance. In the announcement of the event earlier this week, officials say they felt it inappropriate in light of the recent U.S. trade action to have the U.S. on board for cutting the ribbon. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister says he didn't explain clearly that new toll-sharing agreement with the U.S. when he had the chance.
Could I have explained it better on a Sunday morning at Stampede? Yeah, with a cowboy hat on? Yes, I could have explained it better.
Yes, you could have. The Gordie Howe Bridge officially opens to the public on Monday. And European Commission spokesperson Thomas Renier says Canadians will be impacted if TikTok does not take steps required by the European Union's Digital Services Act. They're looking at children specifically.
Minors are exposed to predators, to grooming, and to cyberbullying. Putting default settings for minors is not a beauty contest under the DSA. It must be effective. TikTok now has the right to defend itself, but must adapt the settings to ensure a high level of privacy, security, and safety for kids online.
Hear, hear. That's your news to 7:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. Do you agree with BC's continued ban on American alcohol sales at government-run liquor stores? You can vote at CFAX1070.com or also the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time, 7:06.
Thank you, Lisa. Weather forecast for Greater Victoria for today. Mainly sunny skies. Winds from the east 20, except west 50 near the Juan de Fuca Strait this afternoon. High near 23. Humidex going to make it feel like 27. Few clouds tonight. A 30% chance of showers. Maybe even a thunderstorm overnight with a low near 15. Cloudy tomorrow with a high near 19. Cloudy with a chance of showers on Sunday. About a 70% chance and a high near 18. Right now in downtown Victoria, it's 14 degrees. Some hope for Blue Jay fans yesterday. Shane Bieber went 7 innings, pitching a gem as Toronto ended the 4-game skid at home with a 3-1 victory over Tampa Bay. The Jays are headed to Boston for the weekend. Mariners were off yesterday. They're in Texas over the weekend. The Victoria Harbour Cats have won the Island Cup over their rivals from Nanaimo, finishing off a 3-game sweep with a lot of runs scored. 18-7 the win last night. Harbour Cats begin a 3-game set at home against Kamloops tonight at Rowe Athletic Park. In the CFL, it was a barn burner. Edmonton edging Saskatchewan 36-34 on a last-second field goal. Don't forget, we have Lions football here on CFAX 1070 tomorrow as they host the Argos. Kickoff is at 4. Victoria Royals Ludwig Perreault has been invited to the Team Canada camp for the Gretzky Halinka Cup. Pacific FC hoping to get their first win of the season on Sunday in Ottawa. CFAX Mornings are brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Until August the 5th, you can get 600 Scene Plus points when you buy any participating cheeses and meats to build your own summer snacking bundle. It's been a busy day already at the ferry terminal. The 6 o'clock sailing was a full house. The next available sailing is at 8 o'clock this morning. It has 20% available deck space. 7 o'clock departed about 7 minutes late, which is usually an indication of volume. So 20% on the next sailing at 9 o'clock. Some of the sailings later on in the day, especially 4 o'clock, are almost fully booked at this point. Meanwhile, on the highways, lighter than usual volume on the Trans-Canada. I don't even see a delay through the construction zone right now. Douglas moving along, so is Blanchard. Pat Bay Highway looking good. So far, so good today. It's a sea of red at the markets. The TSX is down 292 points at 35,192. The Dow Jones is off 506 points at 51,711. And the NASDAQ is down 553 points at 25,137. The Canadian dollar is unchanged at 71 cents U.S.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
I promised, I teased it in the 6 o'clock hour that we'd have a Jimothy update.
Yep. Standing by.
Jimothy was named Washington State's Washingtonian of the Day yesterday.
Okay, so just a bit of backstory for anybody who doesn't know who Jimothy is.
He's a deformed raccoon that has captured the hearts.
He's just compact. Call him compact.
Compact raccoon.
He looks like he's been compacted.
Yes. He has a spine syndrome thing going on. And he has been embraced not just by Washington State, but us here on Vancouver Island, because he's very close to us.
He's close enough. He's ours.
Yes. So here's the governor was involved with all this yesterday in Washington State.
The raccoon, dubbed Jimothy, has been spotted running around the Seattle suburb of Ballard, and videos of the odd-looking creature have captured the attention of millions. Unlike a typical raccoon, Jimothy has an extra short neck, likely caused by a condition known as short spine syndrome. On Thursday, Governor Bob Ferguson proclaimed Jimothy as the Washingtonian of the day. And the Seattle City Council is presenting an official proclamation in the raccoon's honor to commemorate what's being dubbed Jimothy Summer. I'm Michael Kastner.
It's Jimothy Summer.
I gotta get a T-shirt.
I follow Saratoga Speedway.
Okay.
On social media channels, because I do go up there every once in a while because I need my little fix of cars going around and turning left.
Good thing they don't have to turn right.
I did watch a race from Ransonville, New York.
Well.
In my old stomping grounds.
Okay.
But anyway.
Yes, we digress.
I digress. They actually capitalized on the Jimothy tour by superimposing a picture of Jimothy in the infield at Saratoga Speedway watching cars coming off of turn 4. So Jimothy's
he may not have a neck, but he's got legs. He's going places.
Oh,
he's famous.
It's going
more famous than we thought.
Yes, it's big. It's big.
Of all the things that we thought were going to be the highlight of this summer, as you were asking from people, I didn't think Jimothy was going to be it, but here we are. Strange but true.
Pointing that out, I think Jimothy has garnered more interest than Taylor and Travis's wedding.
Okay. Yes.
Sure. Your thoughts?
Well, it's apples and oranges. It very much is strange fruit all around. No connection with the song, but okay. I think anything of a little animal. Remember that monkey that was running around with the jacket that the owner, they had to take it from the owner, and remember all that?
Yeah, I
do. The kerfuffle. I think was it a Vancouver parking lot, Vancouver area parking lot, if memory serves me right. Anyway, yes. I think we will always choose the animals over the humans, even though, Taylor and Travis, they seem like nice people. Go away, be married, have your life and your millions, billions. Jimothy has no money. He has no neck, and we love him for that. He's just a weird little raccoon, and weirdness rules on this.
I think we all appreciate that, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
We all have weirdness about us in some degree, and it's our dysfunction that makes us so lovable usually. And that's Jimothy's secret power.
You're making a difference, my friend.
Jimothy is making a difference.
That's what I'm saying. Jimothy could be listening right now.
Jimothy for president, really.
Seriously, we can get into downtown Seattle when the hamsters are at full song. You could just picture those little guys saying, well, fellow woodland creature.
Right.
Let's make sure he gets the signal from CFAX 1070. A beautiful, Ballard's a very nice part of Seattle, by the way. Okay. He's picked a pretty good spot.
Well, I think Jimmy's a pretty smart cookie.
They have breweries and stuff around there. Very nice.
Speaking of cookies, I'm still back on the fact that the Canadian Blood Services here in Victoria offers Oreos if you give blood. So that's worth the price of admission.
Clean them out of the Oreos,
and
folks.
They need you.
Yes.
45 minutes out of your day.
7:15 here at CFAX 1070. Here's Lisa with your news headlines.
The U.S. is imposing forced labor-related tariffs on more than 60 countries, charging Canada and several allies 10% under the goods that are compliant under the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement on trade will remain exempt, though Canada continues to face separate U.S. duties on industries including steel, aluminum, and autos. Washington argues this country has not adequately enforced our forced labor import ban, while Ottawa points to existing protections and proposed Bill C-35. Speaking yesterday in Charlottetown, the Prime Minister noted that Trump administration's move is not news. Community newspaper-owned claims that Canada Post is helping to drive them out of business. thanks to a new partnership it forged with the country's largest printing company. Canada Post launched a joint venture called Radar with Transcontinental delivering the company's flyer package across the country. Community newspapers have traditionally relied on flyer bundles to fund the weekly publications. CEO of News Media Canada, Paul Deegan, says those outlets are now losing ad clients after being undercut by government-backed enterprise. And women can cut wood. Go figure. 3 new women's world records have been set at the Lumberjack World Championships. There's such a thing, and it's held every year in Hayward, Wisconsin. The event is filled with sawing, chopping, log rolling. It ended on the weekend. Carolina Urbana from the Czech Republic set records in the women's underhand chop and women's standing chop. It's specific to how you do it. Meredith Ingebrigtsen of Hayward, the town favorite, set the record in the women's boom run, sprinting across the water back and forth over 8 red cedar logs. She did that in less than 14 seconds. This year, 66 men and 40 women from across various countries, 9 countries, in fact, competed. The competition also featured wood carving, live music, and axe-themed activities, and you can bet there was a whole lot of plaid that wasn't hurt there, too. That's your news to 7:17.
I have an update.
Oh, okay.
This got posted at 7:15 this morning from the Coastal Fire Center. That fire at Goldstream Park, now listed as being held.
Yeah, good.
Which means it's a wildfire that is projected based on fuel and weather conditions and resource availability to remain within its current perimeter control line or boundary, which is 0.009.
Yeah, so it's small, and we're not letting it go anywhere. So
there you
we're
have
not
it.
letting that one grow up and walk away from us. So good. Good. Thank you, fire crews.
Yes.
For being on it.
Much appreciated. Checking the traffic situation around Greater Victoria, no delays at all. It's all clear sailing to this point. At the ferry terminal, the next available sailing at 8 o'clock has 18% available deck space. There are some delays at the airport. WestJet 3322 was scheduled to take off at 6:30 this morning. It's been delayed till 9:50. The Pacific Coastal Flight 100 to Vancouver delayed about 15 minutes and still hasn't taken off quite yet. And then Pacific Coastal 5131 to Kelowna, scheduled to go at 7:55, delayed till 9:25. And there's a slight delay on the noon hour flight on Air Canada to Toronto. It's just running about 10 minutes behind schedule.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
The Huayet First Nations among the communities calling for the province to redesignate Banfield Main Road after destruction accompanied last year's wildfire season. Deputy Chief Councillor Edward Johnson was among the representatives who recently met with the Minister of Transportation to discuss the long-term vision, and he's joining Lisa and I right now. Good morning, Deputy Chief.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So what's the context we should understand about how reliant communities in this area are on that road in particular?
It's a lifeline to the communities. I think that it plays a huge role for our loved ones, our residents that live in Anakwa, Pachina Bay, and Banfield. We have students traveling to activities. We have the Banfield Marine Science Center, those that embark on their journey of study, tourists. But yeah, it's definitely a regional lifeline.
There's been a lot of upgrades on it recently. Can you share a little bit what's happened, and are you pleased with the state it's in right now?
Yes, the road has been, 2 years. I think that the road is holding up strong, and I think that with a proper designation rather than a industrial road, with proper designation comes funding to properly maintain year-round and long-term.
So explain the designation. So funding, I'm guessing, is based on having the designation and upping it. And how does the province act to get it redesignated?
I think that's one of our asks when Mr. Farnsworth traveled out west was to reestablish a Banfield Main working group and to be able to come to the table with solutions. We have a Banfield Main Road completion report that has significant data and recent traffic data. Understanding through that data, 89% of travelers are passenger vehicles on the Banfield Main. So I think that the funding that is there to maintain the road, is for an industrial road. Prior to chip sealing, it was a gravel road with many potholes. So I think that chip sealing is a significant upgrade.
It is, but still, depending on the vehicle traveling on it, it's not the most optimum choice of road surface to travel on. It seems the roads use, as you said, about how many just general vehicles are using it. The road surface has changed, but the mindset hasn't on why it should receive a new designation.
Yeah, I think that the data speaks for itself, and we've come up with other reports, maintenance reports, long-term maintenance reports, and I think that the Banfield Main Road completion report is a significant report. And knowing that we need to protect our investment, the Banfield Road speaks volume. The whole reconciliation project of being able to chip seal out to our community is significant. So then, working with the province and others to protect that investment for future generations.
What was the sense you had after that meeting with the minister? Did you get a good vibe? Did you feel like you were being listened to? Or maybe just give us a picture of how you went away from that meeting.
Yeah, I think that we definitely felt heard. We've had past interactions at the UBCM, and for Minister Farnsworth to travel out west to travel the road is definitely a strong message and a when we talked about reestablishing the Banfield Main Working Group, in the coming months, we'll be sitting at a table. And I think that after leaving our territory, he traveled through the Cowichan route. So then I think that that definitely speaks volume.
Yeah, I think getting people on the road, getting politicians on the road goes a big way to making them realize why this needs to happen. What would be some of the other benefits that would come from this designation, especially for your community?
I think that safety, for one, would be key. Safety on the road. The RCMP would be able to regularly have a presence on the road, and I think that safety is first and foremost, and from there the spin-offs from enhancing the road and designating the road will be key. It would be key for the community of Banfield and the community of Pacino Bay.
I think it'd probably help your tourism industry, would it not?
Yes, definitely. That's a huge spin-off. The numbers are significant last year and this year, and I think that for travelers to feel safe knowing that the road is being looked after and patrolled, I think that's definitely a key spin-off. The economic opportunities.
Well, thanks for joining us this morning, Deputy Chief Councillor Johnson, and certainly enjoyed the conversation. And we'll keep an eye on this as well, because I think a lot of us felt for Banfield in particular last summer when so many things happened one after another, and the road is probably the one thing that could have tied so many of those things together and made it a lot easier on the residents.
Exactly, right? Like when you think about 2 years ago, Highway 4, and how we're linked to so many communities on the coastline, and for travelers to feel safe, when you involve individuals that have never driven an industrial road or a logging road that has potholes on it and it's full of dust. So I think that and last year's Mount Underwood fire, it has deeply impacted our community, our neighboring communities. There's got to be a solution.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
Victoria Symphony presents Symphony in the Summer Festival, July 10th through August 9th. Details at victoriasymphony.ca. Catch all the excitement of summer baseball with the Victoria Harbour Cats. More info at harbourcats.com. Have an event you want featured on CFAX 1070? Text us at 71010 to be featured.
Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria,
An iHeartRadio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7:30 here at CFAX 1070 and CTV Vancouver Island. Steve in for Ryan. Chance of some more thunderstorms overnight. Time for CFAX 1070 News. Here's Lisa Mast.
Yeah, we don't need that. We already have more fire activity due to the thunder and lightning that rolled through yesterday. The BC Wildfire Update has 89 active fires burning, 15 new starts in the last 24 hours. That includes 4 on Vancouver Island. 2 of the 4 considered out of control at this point. They always are when they first start. They're very small in size. The other 2, which were out of control, are now being held by crews. One of them, very visible from the TCH Malahat, that's burning in Goldstream Provincial Park. But again, that's been downgraded to being held. The other one on the southern tip of Shawnigan Lake, that's also being held. The other 2, well under a hectare in size. There are 44 out-of-control fires burning here in BC. Photos of that giant cauliflower-like clouds popping up on social media feeds. Experts say those are pyrocumulus clouds produced by the wildfire on the mainland, the massive wildfire by Boston Bar. UBC Assistant Prof of Atmospheric Sciences Rachel White says it's a crazy fact that a wildfire can get so big it can actually produce its own weather system that may involve thunderstorms with lightning, which could spark even more fires. Meanwhile, if you're traveling, road trip, BC Ferry is very busy taking people over to the mainland today. Highway 3 remains closed between the Hopeside Sunshine Valley area to close to Manning Park Lodge. Good stretch of that route is closed due to the fires. Highway 1 near Boston Bar is another closure in that area. The Coke remains open. The only southern route across the southern interior right now, but there is construction work on the Coquihalla, so you mind your speed. Scenes from that dramatic rescue off Washington State coast, actually Vancouver Island coast, last night, the seaplane crashing off southern Vancouver Island with 11 on board.
Officials say that Kenmore Air flight took off at 4:30 p.m. from Lake Union Thursday for a scenic flight tour bound for Roche Harbor on San Juan Island. It crashed at 5:15 p.m. Investigators are now working to determine what forced the pilot to attempt an emergency landing in Shallow Bay on Susha Island. Kenmore Air CEO says in a statement, "We are grateful that everyone aboard has been accounted for, and our immediate focus is ensuring our passengers and pilot receive the care and support they need."
Voters nearby taking dramatic video and photos of the crash and the rescue. Those are posted on the CFAX Twitter page. They rushed to the aid of the 11 on board before the plane caught fire, smoking at the time. One person is in critical condition. Prime Minister Mark Carney and Canada's premiers emerging from the meeting yesterday in Charlottetown, optimistic and with a plan. For the next 27 days, officials are dealing with the latest threats and trade tactics from the U.S. president, as we first heard from our country's view of retaliating if those tariffs take effect.
With a strong plan, Team Canada, led by the Prime Minister.
First ministers emerged united and with new resolve.
We're ready. We're ready because we've been focusing on what we can control.
Carney says he sees the current deadline as both a potential endgame, but also just another U.S. pressure tactic.
Everything's on the table if there's no agreement, depending on the outcome of the negotiations. We don't need to respond in advance.
Meanwhile, following the meeting, the U.S. announced even more tariffs on Canada, also dozens of other countries linked to the ban on goods made with forced labor. Carney called this latest move from the U.S. not unexpected. And Centre BC recently appointing Mark Bernier, who you heard on CFAX earlier this week. He's the new leader. Mike says he gives his party voters a more moderate choice.
The former BC Liberal cabinet minister says he returned to politics because of growing polarization in the province. Former Premier Christy Clark says voters are caught between what she calls BC's worst government and an unelectable Conservative leader, arguing there is room for a centrist party. Now, independent MLA Eleanor Sturko says hundreds of thousands of voters are politically homeless, but Centre BC must build a strong organization supported by donations. Now, the BC Conservatives say the province's political culture and first-past-the-post electoral system reinforce a two-party divide. David Augustine, The Canadian Press.
That's your CFAX News to 7:35. Here's CFAX 1070 News poll question. Do you agree with BC's continued ban on U.S. alcohol sales at government-run liquor stores? 80% saying yes on our website. You can also vote on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 7:36.
Thank you, Lisa. Weather forecast for Greater Victoria. Mainly sunny today. Windy, especially near the Juan de Fuca Strait from the west this afternoon. High near 23. Humidix going to feel like 27. Few clouds tonight. Increasing cloudiness late this evening with a 30% chance of showers or thunderstorms overnight and a low near 15. Cloudy tomorrow with a high near 19. Cloudy with a 70% chance of showers on Sunday with a high near 18. Right now in downtown Victoria, sitting at 14 degrees. Well, some busyness at the ballpark yesterday in Nanaimo. The Victoria Harbour Cats winning the Island Cup over their rivals, the Night Owls, finishing off a 3-game sweep with an 18-7 win last night. The Harbour Cats began a 3-game series at home tonight against Kamloops at Royal Athletic Park. Blue Jays, 3-1 winners over Tampa Bay. They're on to Boston now. Mariners were off yesterday. They'll be in Texas for the weekend. CFL final from last night. It went right down to the last second. The Eskimos getting a late field goal to edge Saskatchewan 36-34. For a comfortable home, no matter what the season, and big savings on your heating bill, talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. Checking the situation at the ferry terminal, 15% available deck space on the 8 o'clock sailing to the mainland. It's a little jammed up today. It's, for example, the 7 o'clock sailing tonight has 7%. The 5 o'clock has 8. The 4 o'clock has 3. The 2 o'clock has 8. The 1 o'clock has 8. And the noon has 9. Everything else is in double digits, but gives you an idea that it's probably going to be a very busy day at the ferry terminal. On the actual highways, I see no delays, even on the Trans-Canada so far today. Checking the markets, a lot of red being thrown around. The TSX down 292 points at 35,192. The Dow Jones down 506 at 51,711. And the NASDAQ down 553 points at 25,137. The Canadian dollar sitting unchanged at 71 cents U.S.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Number of emails have made their way into our text box at 71010. I thought we would clear them out, as we say, and we appreciate you being part of the program. Steve messed up. I wanted to correct that blood is collected by Canadian Blood Services and not the Red Cross. Correct. So the website to book or research is blood.ca. This is an interesting one. I love this one. Hello, Lisa and Steve. Yesterday around 4:45, I just had pulled off of the Pat Bay Highway into a parking lot when the thunder and lightning started. Thunder is fine. Lightning can be scary and dangerous. However, it was the torrential force of pounding rain on my windshield that made me worry that it may break. Sitting in my car, texting Jade about the weather, a thought occurred to me. Mobile phones and lightning. Not a good mix. Quickly put my phone down, but continued listening to CFAX. How's that for a plug?
It's rare but it's not unheard of.
I just thought that was nice.
Yeah. It's good. And your windshield will not break. It's meant to withstand that kind of heavy rain. If it's hail, that could be different. Different story. At speed, the biggest thing is hydroplaning. When you just lose contact with the road and you end up being a large curling rock sliding across the roadway, which can happen on this island quite easily when we get heavy rain.
Speaking of roadways, in our chat at 6:20, I brought up the research I did after the show yesterday.
Correct.
That had me going through 9 construction zones between Langford and Esquimalt, and 5 between downtown and Langford.
This is Steve's official cone count.
Yeah, so a listener calls that Steve's Excellent Cone Adventures.
Oh, all right. Even better.
But somebody, and I appreciate you, actually counted the number of zones that they went through today on their way to work. 4 cone zones.
4 cone zones. Which did they say where?
No, they didn't.
Okay.
But 4.
So they were just going around the block then.
But at least they did their homework, unlike other people.
You know, it's pretty sunny out for you throwing shade like that, buddy. Don't make me get up.
Oh, don't think for a minute I don't fear you, okay?
You're cute.
Who plans the road repair's route? I think they must secretly be bicycle enthusiasts that take pleasure in the constant hamster-like maze of cone dodging we have to weave around and through, and sometimes over.
Even people on bikes have a cone zone downtown on Wharf. There is a dismount your bike and walk around the work that they're doing on some of the buildings because they've taken up the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So pedestrians and cyclists have to share the bike lane. And a lot of cyclists not liking that. So you do have to share the bike lane. Don't blow through there, as I'm seeing some people do, because of a tourist jots out in front of you, not realizing it. You're going to be in trouble.
Lisa's always been good with moderating Steve a little bit. Because it is a tough job to keep me,
on leash?
Within the lines.
Okay.
And I must admit, I've gotten a little emotional about these latest threats and things. And
we're talking tariff threats?
Yeah, we're talking tariff threats here. And one of the things that Lisa does is remind me that it's the average American is a friend of Canada.
Good people.
Yes. So speaking of that, I heard this clip of the senator for Washington State, our neighbor, Senator Murray, who got up in the Senate this week. This was on Wednesday, and delivered a minute and 24 of gold.
Okay.
I'm going to ask pretty bluntly, what on earth are my colleagues doing here? I don't know why Republicans are focused on making a really petty and offensive statement to Canada, saying they need to do a better job of containing wildfire smoke, as if the Canadian government is letting their forest burn and its own citizens inhale wildfire smoke just to spite us. This is a joke. Maybe my colleagues across the aisle don't realize this, but Canadian firefighters cross that border to help us fight our wildfires right here all the time. And guess what? Our firefighters do the exact same when they're able. In fact, for the information of all senators, a firefighter actually just passed away who was helping us fight a wildfire in Colorado. He was from British Columbia. Now, what we don't do is pass resolutions here telling our friends and our neighbors to do a better job of handling wildfire smoke. And also, maybe somebody should alert the president and my colleagues, but wildfire smoke from the United States often makes its way into Canada. It's happening right now where wildfires are burning in Oregon and in Washington. I think what this might be really about is telling Trump that, Mr. President, look how much we agree with you. This is a waste of everybody's time.
I think that says it all by itself. I'm not even going to offer any more comment. 7:46, here's Lisa with your news headlines.
Nice shout out, though, to the firefighter we lost recently from Souk. Some WestJet customers have a chance to make a one-time booking change without fees ahead of that possible flight attendant strike as early as 9 days from now, which would happen as early as August 2nd. The major Canadian airline says the flexible travel policy applies to those planning to travel between July 30th and August 4th, just to get them through the glut of it. WestJet flight attendants, all 4,400, could be on strike early August if they can't reach a deal. Maximum impact time. The RCMP say they're supporting VicPD's decision to withdraw from the Integrated Vancouver Island Unit, the crime unit investigating major crimes in this region. RCMP Superintendent Val Hansra says in a statement that VicPD was a founding member of this unit back in 2007 and has been an outstanding member of the unit for 18 years. Hansra adds that the RCMP will continue to work closely with VicPD on public safety regardless of their participation in the integrated unit or not. VicPD announcing yesterday they're pulling out of the unit, taking over homicide cases in the city and nearby Esquimalt-on-the-Rhone. The chief, Fiona Wilson, citing crime rates and resource efficiencies as factors in the decision. And Jackie the Bald Eagle continues to recover after receiving a life-saving blood transfusion. Officials at the Auger Raptor Center in California says the bird is receiving intensive care, but she's eating well and perching. She was rescued last week after a fight with two younger eagles. She was found to be sick, suffering anemia. Her inflamed kidneys have also improved. Jackie and her partner Shadow, of course, are quite famous on social media after years of appearing on a Nest cam in Big Bear, California. And that's your news to 748.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
Victoria Symphony presents Symphony in the Summer Festival, July 10th through August 9th. Details at victoriasymphony.ca. Catch all the excitement of summer baseball with the Victoria Harbour Cats. More info at harbourcats.com. Have an event you want featured on CFAX 1070? Text us at 71010 to be featured.
Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
$7:50 here at CFAX 1070, checking the traffic situation. You'll see cone after cone all around Greater Victoria. Cone on top of cone. They're various shapes and sizes. Some of them are helpful. Some of them you wish weren't there, but just know you're going to see a cone today. There is construction happening on paving, to be exact, on Island Highway today in the View Royal area. That goes from 9 till 3, and they're going to be using alternating lane traffic through there. I don't see any delays at all. It's been a pretty calm morning so
Everybody's
far.
away.
No, they've
they're
just
sleeping
given
in?
up on the cones.
Oh, no.
It's the cones.
Keep up the cone count, Steve. Keep up the cone count is the thing.
They're a cone, everywhere cone.
Count your cones on the way in.
That's right.
Tell us where the construction is.
Yes. How many you pass on your way to work today?
It's good therapy.
It just makes me
and it
feel
doesn't
better.
cost you anything.
Exactly. Exactly. At the ferry terminal, the next available sailings at 8 o'clock just has 9% available deck space. The 9 o'clock has 19.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Last we heard, the diarrhea-causing outbreak in the U.S. hasn't affected any Canadian produce. Officials in Alberta say 7 cases have been reported, but they're not linked to the U.S. outbreak. What do we need to know about this particular parasite that's been in the news? April Hexamer is a director in the Infectious Diseases and Vaccination Programs branch of the Public Health Agency of Canada and is joining Lisa and I on the line right now. Have there been any new cases in Canada we should know about beyond those ones in Alberta?
Yeah, so the thing to know here is that there usually is an increase in cyclospora infections in Canada in the spring and summer months. And those illnesses are linked to consuming different fresh fruits and vegetables that are imported to Canada from other countries. So it's not unusual for us to see these sorts of illnesses in the summer, but we aren't seeing any outbreaks of cyclospora. So we aren't seeing any illnesses that are being caused by the same produce in common.
Can we, just by washing them, get the infection off?
Yeah, so it's washing produce actually isn't that helpful for getting rid of cyclospora if it happens to be on produce. It's kind of what we call a sticky parasite. It has a little covering that helps it really adhere well to the produce items. So for people who are concerned and want to reduce their risk, they can do so by following safe food handling practices on a daily basis. So like cook it, peel it, boil it. We do recommend cooking produce that's imported from countries where cyclospora is found, and these tend to be countries in Central and South America, as well as parts of Southeast Asia. And my favorite tip for this is to just focus on consuming fresh produce that was grown in Canada, especially during these spring and summer months when we do see an increase of cyclospora infections linked to consuming fresh fruits and vegetables that have been imported from other countries.
April, here on Vancouver Island, we pride ourselves in buying local and growing local. Does that diminish the risk quite greatly when you know where it's come from?
Yeah, so, the parasite comes from these other countries and other parts of the world that I was mentioning, primarily in Central and South America and parts of Southeast Asia. There have never been reports of produce grown in Canada being contaminated with this parasite. So if you do focus on eating locally grown produce, it will not only greatly diminish, it will make your risk of this parasite zero.
But of course, we do get produce from around the world, and it's nice to be able to try different things from around the world. So if you did want to have it, say, raw, if you didn't want to peel it or cook it, is there a way to do that and still protect yourself?
Yeah, not so much, because this parasite is sticky and it does adhere well to produce. You may be able to wash some of it off, but in general, washing your produce is not a way to eliminate the risk of cyclospora. It's best to boil or cook your food. That would be the best. That would kill the parasite and eliminate the risk.
Is this something naturally occurring in certain climates?
Yeah, it is a parasite that is what we call endemic, or exists in other climates.
So that's they could be doing everything right. Mm-hmm. This isn't an example of a producer doing everything wrong and exposing us. This is more like naturally occurring.
So it does exist in other climates, and it is associated with some agricultural practices that's how it does end up in the food. So there are ways in the countries where it does exist to eliminate the risk, and it's not always followed. So this is how we do end up with some produce being contaminated and being exported to other countries.
It does draw on the larger precaution, though, of knowing where your food's coming from and taking the steps to protect your family, knowing what's going in your fridge and your cupboard.
Yeah, no, that's a great focus. So, like I was saying, Cyclospora doesn't naturally exist in Canada, so we can feel confident that when we're consuming fresh produce grown in Canada, that it is not contaminated with the Cyclospora parasite.
April, thank you so much for taking time and sitting down with us about that so people can better understand, because we see so many headlines, especially south of the border, in some of the comments. It's nice to get the scoop on how and where it comes from, and also how good our producers here are in Vancouver Island. Much appreciated.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
CFAX Victoria,
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, Vancouver Island. It's Friday, July the 24th. Steve in subbing for Ryan for one last day. More thunderstorms in the forecast, just a possibility overnight, not like yesterday. Time for CFAX 1070 News. Here's Lisa Best.
Thanks, Steve. And we don't need more lightning. We're already dealing with a couple new fires here across Vancouver Island, and of course more on the mainland too, with lightning rolling through yesterday. The BC Wildfire Update has 89 active fires burning, 15 new starts in the last 24 hours. And a number of those on Vancouver Island, there's at least 4, but 2 of them are being held. That's the one that's visible from the Trans-Canada on the Malahat. It's burning in Goldstream Provincial Park, but crews making fast work of that. That fire went from out of control to now being held at well under hectare in size. The other one, the south tip of Shawnigan Lake, just east of there, that one was also out of control, being held by crews. 2 other smaller fires on the island also considered out of control, but they are well under hectare in size. Meanwhile, the giant cauliflower clouds that people are putting on social media feeds, those are pyrocumulus clouds that have been produced by the Boston Bar Fire. It is large enough to create its own weather system. UBC Assistant Professor of Atmospheric River Sciences, Rachel White, confirms this, that when they get that big, those weather systems may also involve more thunderstorms and lightning, which, of course, could spark even more fires, wildly enough. Investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board and the FAA are beginning the search into the potential cause of yesterday's dramatic seaplane crash off the coast of Vancouver Island. It crashed in the San Juan Islands, injuring several people on board, prompting a major emergency response. The plane, caught it on video by bystanders on boats, seen flying low before crash landing into rocks off a small island and eventually bursting into flames, but not before all on board were rescued. ABC aviation analyst John Nance says the plane burned because of that hard impact.
Most likely what happened was the tanks were breached as the airplane augered in, and what you saw was an ignition point.
Boaters nearby who caught this on video also rushed to help the 11 on board, one person in critical condition. The U.S. Trade Representative's Office announcing new duties on more than 60 nations hours after the U.S. president's previous tariff tool was set to expire. Canadian press reporter Diana Messina has the latest on the tariff war.
Canada, Mexico, and the UK are among the countries getting hit with a 10% tariff, while other nations are seeing a 12.5% levy. But the new tariffs will not apply to goods compliant under the CUSMA agreement. The Trump administration launched trade investigations earlier this year after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down the tariff tool used for the Liberation Day and fentanyl-related duties.
The Canadian government previously told the Trump administration that new legislation combating forced labor and supply chains could shield Canada from new tariffs. WestJet offering customers a Hail Mary. If you're set to fly just as 4,400 flight attendants are about to strike, which could be as soon as August 2nd, which is 9 days from now, they're offering you a chance to make one-time changes to your booking without fees.
The Canadian airline says the flexible travel policy applies to those planning to travel between July 30th and August 4th. WestJet flight attendants could go on strike as soon as August 2nd if they're unable to reach a new deal. The airline says talks with the union continue to progress, and it's optimistic that it can reach an agreement. But it says it's committed to giving customers certainty, so it's offering them the flexibility to make travel decisions that best meet their needs. Brenda Molina Navidad, The Canadian Press.
After 13 straight nights of attacks in Iran, the U.S. military may soon be ordered to dramatically increase those attacks. The U.S. president tells Axios he's considering a massive attack bigger than before. He says he's close to making a decision. More from ABC's Mary Bruce.
Sources tell ABC News one option under consideration is a return to the kind of full-scale strikes seen in the opening days of the war. The conflict is already expanding, with Iranian-backed Houthi rebels attacking 2 Saudi oil tankers in the Red Sea, choking another key waterway.
Now, with several oil tankers now becoming targets for the Iranian-backed Houthis, many worry about that choke point, what it could be doing to the global oil industry.
We've been talking about the Strait of Hormuz for months, but less so about a strait called Bab el-Mandeb, just off the coast of Yemen in the Red Sea. 10 to 12% of all global shipping goes through that strait each year, and now a lot of Saudi oil does as well. The fear now is what happens if the Houthis and Iran jointly decide to close Bab el-Mandeb altogether, causing oil prices to skyrocket.
Currently, the liter of fuel, regular fuel, local stations ranging anywhere from 186.9 to 205 a liter. European Commission spokesman Thomas Renier says children will be impacted if TikTok doesn't take proper steps required by the European Union's Digital Services Act.
Minors are exposed to predators, to grooming, and to cyberbullying. Putting default settings for minors is not a beauty contest under the DSA. It must be effective. TikTok now has the right to defend itself, but must adapt the settings to ensure a high level of privacy, security, and safety for kids online.
And a man using a wheelchair to struggle to get across 6 lanes of traffic on an Arkansas roadway got help in an unexpected fashion. A spider hero driving a Jeep, Kristen Hellenthal, was still wearing his Spider-Man costume from a superhero-themed event at a trampoline park that he works at when he saw a person in need this week. Stopping his Jeep at the light, he jumped out and swiftly rolled the man in the wheelchair across the crosswalk to safety before the light changed. Seconds, the moment actually captured by the street security camera shared on social media by police in Jonesboro, who thanked the Spider-Man for getting the senior safely across. That's your news to 8:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking you if you agree with BC's continued ban on American alcohol sales at government-run liquor stores in light of the trade tariff war that's underway. 80% saying yes. You can vote at CFAX1070.com, also the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Bastian. News time is 8:06.
Thank you, Lisa. You are appreciated.
Thank you, Steve. You are too. How's your cone count?
Some of the comments are coming in.
Okay.
We need to do this just before 8:15 because some of the counts have pointed out a flaw in my system.
Oh.
But it's a positive one.
Okay.
A positive one.
Okay. This is the CFAX cone count.
Yes. It also
the silver lining of construction.
The listener also pointed out that my ticker for BNN Bluebird wasn't working properly.
Okay.
So I've refreshed, and the market's doing much better than I was saying all morning because it didn't automatically refresh.
Did you get the AED out and give it a shock?
Yeah, I had
that
to.
Ticker? Okay.
I had to.
Yes.
I had to get forceful.
Well, that's fine. Get the AED out. Just give it a shock. You know what? North American markets could use a shock in a positive fashion. So,
well, they got one because all three of the major indices, see, I used the correct term there, are up, except for the NASDAQ. NASDAQ isn't. So, thank you, listener. That was,
keeping Steve on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, you guys are on me. Like, it's okay. Like, I like to be, I'd rather be right than accurate. So if I'm doing stuff wrong, you feel free to tell me. If I'm wrong, I will admit it because I've become used to that.
You're married once. Steve, it's okay.
Oh, that one was really well hit. Weather forecast. A listener did ask if I had a precipitation total. I tried to find one from the airport because that's usually the major center, and they haven't posted it yet. So if I get that before the top of the clock, I will pass that along, but it isn't listed freely there.
Okay.
Mainly sunny today. Winds from the east 20, except west 50 near the Wanda Fuga Strait this afternoon. A high near 23. Few clouds tonight, increasing cloudiness late this evening. Then a 30% chance of showers overnight. Risk of a thunderstorm as well with a low near 15. Cloudy tomorrow with a high near 19. Cloudy with a 70% chance of showers on Sunday with a high near 18. All right, now in downtown Victoria, 15 degrees. And sports. Blue Jays, 3-1 winners over Tampa Bay, putting an end to the skid at home. They head to Boston for the weekend. Mariners were off yesterday. They head to Texas. Pacific FC hoping to get their first win of the season Sunday on the road. They're in Ottawa. The Victoria Royals' Ludwig Perreault has been invited to the Team Canada camp for the Gretzky-Holinka Cup. Patrick Kane returning to the Blackhawks. It's a 2-year deal. CFL last night, Edmonton edged Saskatchewan 36-34. It was the last-second field goal. Dramatic. Don't forget, we have Lions football here on CFAX tomorrow as they host the Argos. The kickoff is at 4, pregame at 3. Harbor Cats, big winners by 11. That's a lot. 18-7, the final last night in Nanaimo. Harbor Cats begin a 3-game series at home against Kamloops tonight at Rowe Athletic Park. $8:11 here at CFAX 1070, and the morning show is brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Until August 5th, get 600 Scene Plus points when you buy any participating cheeses and meats to build your own summer snacking bundle. Checking the highways, no delays on the Trans-Canada Victoria bound at all. Like, I probably shouldn't. No, I'm not gonna jinx it. But there's probably lighter than usual traffic. I will say that. So your commute is going to be easier despite all the cones out there. At the ferry terminal, the next available sailing at 9 o'clock has 18% available deck space. On the markets, now that my ticker is working properly, the TSX up 84 points at 35,277. The Dow Jones up 85 at 51,797. And the NASDAQ down 129 at 25,008. The Canadian dollar up 4 basis points at 71 cents U.S.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
So, we've been talking about the number of cones today.
The CFAX cone count.
Yes.
The upside of construction in town.
The 9 cones on Gord. 9.
Okay. That means 9 construction zones.
But then things took a drastic turn in the comments from our listeners.
Okay.
Good morning, Steve and Lisa. With all this talk about cones, I'm having this incredible craving for an ice cream cone.
Oh, I like that.
I think I'm going to go get one. Thank you.
I like where we're going with that.
Okay, that's not the only one.
I'm in.
Counting cones. Do ice cream cones count?
100%.
I'll take that assignment. And then I think Steve should do an ice cream cone count. That's from Dawn.
Right? We have smart people. And you're incredibly good looking, too.
So the cone
count
has shifted into a whole new direction.
Well, and a very positive one, I would have to say.
Yes, it is. All those in favor of ice cream cones rather than traffic cones say aye. All those opposed, carried.
I like that kind of politics. Can we do that with the trade war, too?
Actually, when you say that, that reminds me of the mayor of Trenton, Ontario, when I was first young in the business at CJTN 1270, today's country favorites. A voice of the Blue Jays for the greater Quinte region.
Oh, wow. So, yes, you were saying.
There was a mayor. His name was Neil Robertson.
Okay.
And Neil was one of my favorite politicians ever because I never had to edit his clips. He had 35 seconds of gold, and that was his entire statement.
We call those people a walking soundbite.
Yeah, it was like, this is it, 35 seconds, in, out,
very
explains
specific.
The whole thing.
Okay.
We're done. No editing.
Get her done.
Yes.
I like it.
And that's what that comment reminded me of, is that he used to do the council meetings at that speed. So not only did he do the 35-second interview, he also did the let's move on the program people.
Okay.
I love those people. Good morning, Steve and Lisa. We could have a hockey team named the Pylons, like the old Lay's chip commercials with Mark Messier. Who are we? The Pylons.
The Pylons.
Bet you can't just eat just one. Keep up the great work. Hopefully you both have a good, wonderful weekend. That's from Todd in Machosen.
Wonderful.
Do you know that some defensemen are referred to as a human pylon?
Well, this is the job they have to do.
No, it's because they're so easy to get around. They call them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not according to my students on motorcycle.
And,
call them cone killers.
Well, okay. Well, in the hockey phraseology, if you're called a
pylon,
it's not a good thing.
It's not a compliment.
It's not a good thing.
Okay.
Dion Phaneuf, who used to get called by Leaf fans the pylon. Not just. It's kind of, yeah.
So we're talking about cones because we want you to count the cones. Every construction zone would count as a cone.
Yes.
So if you're on your way in or you're on your way somewhere, running errands or whatever, count a cone for every construction site. Let us know how many cones you reach.
Somebody says we're being too coney.
Oh, wait, I don't get it. Playing difficult. Okay.
8:16, here's Lisa with your news headlines.
Ever-evolving wildfire situation in the province and also on our island. We have 90 active wildfires according to the BC Wildfire Dashboard. We have 16 starts in the last 24 hours. 43 fires now considered under control. I make that out of control. Looking on the island, we have 3 out of control fires in the northern parts of the island, in the wilderness, in the interior, north of Campbell River. But closer to home here, we have 2 fires that started out of control. One of them near Shawnigan Lake, that's now being held. And the fire that sparked in Goldstream Provincial Park, very visible from the highway, that is also considered being held by crews. So crews doing really good work on those and getting a good handle on them. Of course, the slightly wetter conditions may be helping as well. In the interior of the BC Wildfire Service says that 59 Creek wildfire burning out of control northwest of Clinton has grown to more than 102 square kilometers in size. In Boston Bar, northeast of Vancouver, authorities are warning holdout residents will have to leave now as fire surrounds Fraser Canyon community. A part of Highway 3 is closed due to fire activity. Also, a couple sections of Highway 1 are also closed. So be aware if you've got a road trip planned this weekend, you may be delayed or have to take a detour due to that. The U.S. president's latest tariff hikes has provoked heated objections from the U.S.'s trading partners administration last night, announcing extra tariffs on top of tariffs, 10 to 12.5% on 60 different countries, including ours. The new duties will not apply to goods compliant under CUSMA, so it's not expected to affect the trade regime Canada has been under since February. Canada also being slammed by Trump's separate tariffs on sectors like steel, aluminum, auto, and cabinetry. Prime Minister Mark Carney has now said that everything is on the table if Canada can't secure a deal to avoid this dramatic escalation in U.S. levies. We will keep you posted as to what comes next. That's your news to 8:18.
$8:20 here at CFAX 1070. Traffic situation, everything in very good shape at this hour around Greater Victoria. Little congested on Hillside Drive area, Finlayson Drive area on both Douglas and Blanchard, but way later than usual there. A reminder about single-lane alternating traffic as they do paving from 9 to 3 today through View Royal on the I-1 Highway. At the ferry terminal, the 9 o'clock sailing has 16% available deck space. The 10 o'clock has 19.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
For a comfortable home, no matter what the season, and big savings on your heating bill, talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. The District of Metchosen's emergency alert system for the public is at issue after a man imprisoned at the William Head Correctional Facility was reported escaped, then found dead. Since the incident, gaps in the notification system have become more clear as council learned more than 1,400 residents who were registered for the one-call system didn't get their notice. What efforts are underway to improve this for the future? Well, the Mayor, Marie-Therese Little, is joining us now. Good morning, Your Worship, and welcome back to the program.
Good morning, Steve. Always my pleasure.
Now, can you walk us through what the one-call system and how it fits into your emergency planning?
Yeah, my pleasure. The one-call platform that was implemented by our former fire chief, Stephanie Dunlop, is a platform which has the ability to send voice and text and email notifications in one full sweep. And it is for emergencies only. That is for major emergencies like a tsunami or a fire or, for instance, some unlawful at-large presence of an inmate from William Head Institution. Are you there?
Yes, sorry. Did the transition to the new fire chief fit into this as well?
Yeah, it does actually. What has happened at the District Metchosen is our long beloved and wonderful Chief Stephanie Dunlop, who, of course, was much admired and loved in our community, as I mentioned at our March event that we honored her. She applied for and received the position of assistant or deputy fire chief in Central Saanich. That was in February or so. And then we as in the CAO of the District of Metchosen, put out an RFP for the position, posted the position. Unfortunately, given the timing of Stephanie Dunlop's departure and the time required to post and recruit this senior leadership position in an open and fair, transparent way, as we've been doing in the District of Metchosen this term since 2022, there wasn't that face-to-face overlap between the fire chiefs. Regretfully, there were some items that were not communicated to the new fire chief that should have been, such as the codes and the very existence of the One Call Now system. So when the new fire chief asked me soon after he was, I think it was day 2 that he was hired, I mentioned to him that my priority, and I thought his priority, should be to understand our emergency management plan. Unfortunately, he only knew what he only knew, and he didn't think to ask about the One Call platform because he didn't know about it. And that is an unfortunate reality of the situation. I'm not trying to cast aspersions or blame on anybody here. That was just the reality.
So is this all in place now?
It is in place. It is in place. All the codes have been transferred, fortunately, to the new fire chief, and that has been brought forward to the more junior members of the Metchosen Volunteer Fire Department as well.
Do you know for how long this disconnect was in place?
This was implemented, as I understand it, last term. I was a counselor, as you'll remember. This was implemented as a result of the last, it was a prison escape. The current, what we're talking about, wasn't a prison escape, of course, because the inmate didn't actually leave the premises, but the former prison escape, as a result of that, there were a number of things that were implemented at Correction Services Canada, but within the District of Metchosen. And this is one of those systems that was in place, absolutely, after the prison escape of Mr. Bush and Mr. Armitage.
Right. where we lost a Metchosin resident and as a result of that.
Absolutely. And of course, we want to give our condolences once again to Martin Payne's family. And our community was devastated because of that. And I think that is why we have this overriding fear and sentiment when something like this happens, and I understand that.
Yeah, and
my family lives here, of course.
Exactly. So you know, the community was basically locked down, and everyone was wondering, where is Ernest Jensen? You know, when this went down in late June. So this disconnect is, I'm just for the community's sake to just calm nerves. This disconnect will not happen again, where there's a hiccup in the service.
Yeah. Let's just go back. So when this happened, there was a account at the Correction Services Canada. The inmate was unaccounted for. That was about noon. At that time, as I understood it, and as I was told by Correction Services Canada, the warden at the prison, once that happens, they signal to the RCMP that there is an inmate potentially at large, but an inmate that is unaccounted for. So at that moment, then it is the RCMP investigation. And it was about 1:20 when a message was sent to me as mayor from the prison. I didn't pick that up because I was at the farmers market. I didn't pick it up until about 1:50 when I was in my office at the district of Metchosin. And that almost simultaneously, as I was reading one message from the prison, I got a call from the RCMP. So up to that point, all of our emergency management protocol was in place and was followed. And essentially, as I was learning information from both the RCMP and Correction Services Canada at William Hill Security Institution, as I was sharing. So as I was learning, I was doing my level best to share as quickly as possible through the channels and avenues that I had available to me. So email, Facebook, and I also went door to door within the village because I knew there were volunteers working at the Metchosin Arts and Cultural Center, Art Pod, and doing their next installation, which is absolutely fabulous. I knew they would be there, and I suspected they wouldn't be attached to their phones. And so I went door to door at the Metchosin Arts and Cultural Center, as well as the Metchosin Collective, the Mild Zero Brewery. I also went to the Mark Building, the Metchosin Arts Recreation and Collective Center, to the corner store. I ran across the street to the Broken Paddle Coffee House, as well as the cafe.
Understood. So, you were getting your legwork in. You were on social media spreading it too, because it spread like wildfire on social media.
Of course it did. And my concern was for my community. As the CEO and the mayor of the district of Metchosin, the health and well-being of my citizens is on my shoulders. So I was feeling like I needed to do my level best to get that message across, including whatever I was receiving from Correction Services Canada, and I had to wait for that official word from them, because that is their word. That is not something within my purview. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for authorization from the RCMP, triangulating the data, as it would, and then communicating that. And so as soon as I found out the official notice, I put it on Facebook. I put it on email. And that was then communicated to our pod system.
Right.
So we have sort of redundancies a little bit, which is good in this sense. The pod is the Neighborhood Emergency Preparedness Program, or POD. And that was fed out to the pod director. She actually saw my Facebook report. She fed that out to all the pod leaders within Metchosin. So many of those 1,450 people that were missed in this so-called prison escape alert, as was noted in the Times Colonist, were picked up in this pod system. And so I felt good about that, of course, in retrospect.
The main thing, Mayor, resources. The people have been chosen just want to know moving forward that you said it yourself, any redundancies or any disconnects would be picked up on and proved on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And that's what my message has remained clear since the event. I did my level best. I was sharing after I was learning, and we've identified what the things that we did right in the emergency management program plan, and we've identified gaps. And we will be meeting with the RCMP as well as the Correction Services Canada at William Head Institution to discuss between the three entities, the district, the chosen RCMP, and the prison, to do a SWOT analysis, our strengths, our weaknesses, opportunities, and threats about where those disconnects happened. Absolutely. And the community is right to ask those questions, and I support them in that.
That's good.
Thanks for joining us, Your Worship.
We appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're most welcome. By the way, I like chocolate ice cream regarding cones.
The cones continue. We got one text while you were on. That's it. We're starting a band, The Pylons. First album, Rod and Cones, we see in the future. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
This summer, 3 of Vancouver Island's biggest voices are coming together to make a real difference.
Get your tickets now for the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50.
Brought to you by 107.3 Virgin Radio, CFAX 1070, and CTV.
In support of CFAX Santa's Anonymous all-new Kids Count program, supporting children beyond Christmas.
The Mega Summer 50-50.
Your chance to win big while giving back.
Buy your tickets today at CFAX1070.com.
Gaming event license 174660. CFAX Victoria,
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, Vancouver Island. It's 8:34, almost 8:35 here at CFAX 1070. Steve in for Ryan. Chance of a thunderstorm tonight. Time for CFAX News. Here's Lisa Best.
We'll keep this short, not so sweet. Though investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board and the FAA beginning their search into potential cause of yesterday's seaplane crash off the coast of southern Vancouver Island. Several people injured, and it prompted a major emergency response.
The plane skimming low over the water before heading straight into the rocky shoreline. That smoking de Havilland Otter seaplane disabled on the rocks.
Just stay there.
Its nose in the air as passengers race to escape the cabin, climbing to safety. Authorities say the 10 passengers on board and the pilot all survived, but several were hurt, including one person now in critical condition.
Nearby boaters witnessed the crash and helped rescue the 11 on board before the plane went up in flames. On the BC Fire dashboard, we have 90 fires burning across BC. A number of fires have closed a portion of Highway 1 up towards Lytton and also Highway 3. So be aware if you're taking a road trip, you may be hampered with detours and there may be smoke visibility too you have to deal with. On the island, due to the lightning strikes overnight, we have three out of control fires. One of them was one originally burning up by southwest of Was. The other two are smaller, just southwest of there. There was a fire burning on the southern tip of Shawnigan Lake. That one considered out of control, actually being held. It's updated. And also the fire in Goldstream Provincial Park, that went from out of control to being held. So crews doing quick work on those fires. And another day, another auto recall. Ford Motor Company now recalling more than 500,000 Broncos.
Ford is recalling nearly 566,000 Broncos and Bronco Raptors from model years 2021 through 2026. The automaker estimates that around 1% of the vehicles have insufficient protection on the wiring harness in the engine compartment, which can expose wires and short circuit, increasing the risk of fire. To fix the problem, dealerships will install new covers over the wiring free of charge. Ford says it's not aware of any reports of accidents or injuries related to the issue. Marcela Sanchez, Washington.
That's your news, 8:37. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. This morning, we're asking you if we should, in BC, continue to ban U.S. alcohol sales at government-run liquor stores. 80% saying yes. You can vote now, CFAX1070.com. Also, the iHeartRadio app. It's 8:38.
Thank you, Lisa. Your weather forecast for Greater Victoria, mainly sunny today, high near 23. There'll be winds from the west at 50 near the Juan de Fuca Strait this afternoon, a high near 23. Few clouds tonight, a risk of a shower or thunderstorm tonight, about a 30% chance overnight with a low near 15. Cloudy tomorrow, high near 19. Cloudy with a 70% chance of showers on Sunday with a high near 18. Right now in downtown Victoria, sitting at 15 degrees. Checking sports, the Blue Jays, 3-1 winners yesterday over the Tampa Bay Rays. They're in Boston on the weekend. Red Sox have been red hot lately. Mariners were off yesterday. Important series as they head to Texas for the weekend. Harbor Cats won 18-7 over Nanaimo last night. They win the Island Cup over their rivals and began a 3-game series at home tonight against Kamloops at Royal Athletic Park. In the CFL, Edmonton over Saskatchewan, 36-34. 8:41 here at CFAX 1070, checking your traffic situation. No delays in and around Greater Victoria at this hour. Way lighter than normal traffic volume. A lot of people taking a long weekend. I don't even see any jams headed up the Malahat, which we may see later today with people making a break for it for the weekend. Meanwhile, at the ferry terminal, 16% available deck space on the 9 o'clock. Keep in mind, some of the sailings, especially the 4 o'clock, are pretty booked up today. It's sort of peak travel time between about noon and 7 p.m. tonight. There's very little left, except for the 3 o'clock. So just keep that in mind, and you might want to make a reservation if that's possible. On the markets, TSX up 186 points at 35,379. Dow Jones up 338 at 52,050. And the NASDAQ down 1 point at 25,135. The Canadian dollar is sitting at 71 cents U.S. That's up 2 basis points.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
For a comfortable home, no matter what the season, and big savings on your heating bill, talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. We have a sports bulletin just into the newsroom. Breaking news.
So high-tech here.
Anyway. ESPN reporting LeBron James has signed with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh, he's taking his money elsewhere, is he?
Yeah. He's not taking it to South Bay like he did with the big announcement, but he made it long and drawn out just like the last time and minorly irritating. Got
to be dramatic. When you make that much money, you can be dramatic and people just find you eccentric.
We have, yes. This I'd love a picture of, this story.
Okay.
Because you talked about the blueberries. We've had accidents this week.
The traffic jam?
Yeah, and we've covered some different accidents.
We have.
With different things on the highway.
Correct.
This was in Seattle yesterday.
Okay.
Corn.
Oh.
Washington State Patrol says a semi carrying a trailer full of corn overturned, hit an attenuator and a sign stand, spilling corn on the cob across the I-5 southbound exit. It took more than 5 hours to pick up the spilled corn and put it in another truck. Tow trucks removed the wreckage. Investigators say drowsy driving caused the crash. I'm Brad Ford.
If they only had more cones there, they could have taken care of that.
We should have an ice cream truck crash, and then we could use the cones to pick it up.
Yes.
Now we're just getting silly. Okay.
It's only 15 minutes to go.
Right, for you.
Claire and I are just looking forward to that.
Claire sees the barn. Hi, Claire. You want to say anything yet? No, Claire doesn't want to say anything.
Claire has kept me on
strong
track.
and silent.
And the reason it sounds good is because of Claire.
She pushes all the buttons, including Steve's.
Yes. She's also keeping me on the little live read thing very well. Like, for those of you who don't know, it basically tells us when we have to do a live read, but I can't see that from where I'm. So she has to prompt me, and then I have to go to my little scripts that they supplied me.
Pays the bills.
Pays the bills. It's 8:45. Here's Lisa with your news headlines.
Here in Canada, we're having our own special ceremony to mark the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Ottawa cancelling a joint celebration with the U.S., basically thumbing our noses at them in light of the U.S. president's latest tariff threats. Housing Minister Gregor Robertson, Ontario's Premier Doug Ford, and the Mayor of Windsor, Drew Dilkins, among the officials expected at the ceremony. Of course, the bridge connects Ontario with Michigan. It's set to open Monday, and we are going to be paying for that moving forward in the U.S. eventually, too. The U.S. is imposing forced labor-related tariffs on more than 60 countries, charging Canada and several allies 10%. Goods compliant under CUSMA on trade will remain exempt. Of course, that's still being negotiated. Washington argues Canada has not adequately enforced forced labor import bans. Ottawa points to existing protections and the proposed Bill C-35. Speaking yesterday, the Prime Minister noted that the Trump administration's move is not news. And 3 new women's world records set at the Lumberjack World Championships in Hayward, Wisconsin. The event featured sawing, chopping, and log rolling. Carolina Urbana from the Czech Republic set a record in the women's underhand chop and women's standing chop. Those are things. Meredith Ingebrigtsen of the town of Hayward is the town darling. She set a record for the women's boom run. She rolled across 8 red cedar logs in less than 14 seconds. The competition featured 66 men and 40 women from 9 countries competing. Lots of plaid was involved, too. That's your news day at 46.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Victoria Symphony presents Symphony in the Summer Festival, July 10th through August 9th. Details at victoriasymphony.ca. Catch all the excitement of summer baseball with the Victoria Harbour Cats. More info at harbourcats.com. Have an event you want featured on CFAX 1070? Text us at 71010 to be featured. Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Here's CFAX 1070, checking your traffic situation. I see no delays at all around the Greater Victoria Airport. Next available sailing, Swartz Bay has 11% available deck space. And a reminder, CFAX Mornings are brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Until August 5th, get 600 Scene Plus points when you buy any participating cheeses and meats to build your own summer snacking bundle. Before we get to Dallas and what's going on road-wise or food-wise in town, we have a special guest in studio. And this just goes to show the power of the listenership.
You know,
the special guest is handling the board.
Yeah.
Okay, kill the music.
So okay, how do we do this again? Okay, pot down.
Claire helped the poor guy.
We can have the music playing. I like it. It adds some momentum to the conversation.
Oh, we got momentum.
We have a texter, and this is what they said. We hear a lot about Dad Brad, and heard him once or twice. Even received text answers from him. However, I don't think we've ever seen him.
I do exist, and humble Steve skips over the meat of this text message. He jumped to the end. The part that I wanted to come on and read, and thank you, texter, is before the end of the show, I want to say how much we have enjoyed having Steve co-host the past 2 weeks. It has been really fun watching and listening to the two of you. Side note, Lisa, you have a wealth of information, knowledge on a variety of subjects, and you're good at reining in and supporting your co-host when needed. Steve skips right over that, so I wanted to come in and read that, and then just add to that sentiment that yes, you two have crushed it the last week. Claire behind the scenes, keeping you guys on track, smooth sailing. I appreciate the doldrums of summer, and Ryan's all gallivanting Europe, and you guys have been waking up at a god-awful hour to come in here and put on an amazing show. So thank you, Claire. Thank you, Steve.
Claire,
thank you, Lisa.
Get in a shot? Are we going to see Claire?
Does she want to wave?
There's Claire.
Does she wave?
Say hi.
So you guys have killed it. I just wanted to come in and share that sentiment of the texter. And from myself and the rest of the CFAX audience, everybody behind the scenes here, happy summer, you guys. And now you get to sleep in for a couple weeks.
Thank you.
Until Ryan goes away again. Yeah, and then Lisa, no. But Steve and Claire, yes. And stand by Monday because he is gallivanting Europe. Like, is he going to be back on Monday? I don't know.
He'll be back.
I hope so.
He's home already.
I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay, well, you guys are awesome. So thank you for everything this week.
Dad Brad. You get to see him live and in person.
Have him. You ask for something, we try to get it for you.
How's the dad bod? Is it
a much improvement over my hair?
I think we got to talk food.
Let's talk food.
Let's do that.
Let's bring Dallas on the line.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
And Dallas, our food guy, is joining us. Good morning, Dallas.
How are you doing?
Hi, Dallas.
I quite enjoyed that little bit right there.
Okay, so you have a lot to unpack for this weekend. I'm looking at your list, and I'm very excited about some of the events that are happening. Can you share?
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. So I did this in kind of the order that these are going to occur. The first thing is on Sunday at Kildare Farms in North Saanich. It's a fundraiser for the Saanich Peninsula Hospital. 100% of the proceeds go to the hospital. $54 a ticket, and it's called Toast to the Coast. So again, it's happening at Kildare Farms. This is going to be sort of, you get some tastings, you get some bites. There's over 40 local artisan food and drink vendors there. So the sort of the way I envision this, and based on what I read, it's kind of like, you can walk amongst the flowers and orchard trees. They have little lounge areas set up. So it's going to be super chill, super relaxing. And that's happening on Sunday. So that one sounds very cool.
A beautiful place to have it.
100%. And that's something I haven't been to. I've been to a lot of the events in town, but this one I've not been to. I think it's the third annual this time. And then next week we have the Cowichan Valley Wine Festival is kicking off Wednesday night at the Malahat Skywalk at 6:30 p.m. This one's interesting because they have two different ticket prices for this one. One's $70, one's $115. The $115 one, though, it's the VIP ticket. It includes a glass you get to keep, the Winefest passport for when you go around all the different vineyards and wineries, but it also has an annual membership pass to the Malahat Skywalk. And that pass alone almost pays for the price of this ticket. So I thought that was really interesting. There is a $40 shuttle that you can get from to and from downtown Victoria to the Skywalk.
That's worth it.
So if you want to buy that, you can. And that's happening again, 6:30 p.m. at the Malahat Skywalk next Wednesday. The Cowichan Valley Wine Festival is happening the whole month of August, basically. So you get to go try out. We got an amazing amount of cool wineries up in the area there, and I think it doesn't quite get that area doesn't get the respect that it deserves. But there's always new places to check out and discover. There's really cool stuff going on. So we've got that. And then on Wednesday as well, if you're going to be staying in town, for people that enjoy frequenting bars, they would have heard of Citrus and Cane. And it ends up being that Citrus and Cane is reopening next Wednesday at 5 p.m. in Trounce Alley.
Oh, really? New location?
Yeah, 100%. A very renowned bar. And they actually have food now, which is a massive upgrade. So for anyone that loves Citrus and Cane, you will be able to get your fix again starting next Wednesday and in Trounce Alley. That is going to be amazingly cool. And the food edition is just great. And then we have another event that's coming up, and that's happening a week tomorrow, 12 to 4 p.m. in Market Square. And this one's being put on by the Drake. This one's in support of the Victoria Kool-Aid Society. I went to this one a couple of years ago, and it was just the best time. Like, they've got some drinks there. They've got food. They just bring some chefs in, let the chefs do whatever they want to do. It was just one of my most enjoyed events I think I've gone to in the past 3 years, and it goes to such a good foundation.
It's such a chill vibe there, and they really do know how to roll out the hospitality.
100%. Yeah. No, Mike and Lee are awesome, and they with what they did going during the FIFA the World Cup and getting that set up, and now doing this. And the Drake is just such a pillar in the community. I think, it's been here for so long now, and it's just the vibe there is always great, and just such a great collection of beers that they have on tap. And then the food as well is phenomenal. So if anybody, even if you're like me and you don't really drink that much, going to the Drake and just having some food is fun.
Yeah, pairings are nice.
100%.
Doing a flight.
And then we have next Tuesday a little side edition. I don't know if this was mentioned before, but the Snowbirds are going to be off the Dallas Road waterfront at 5 p.m. next Tuesday, putting on a little show. So I just saw about that, so I want to give that a shout out.
It'll be their final show here, as they do their cross-Canada tour.
Yeah. And then the last thing I want to give a shout out to is a place that I just went to that opened recently called Fuel Canteen. This is on Pandora Street next to Rudy. It's a spot where I like the name kind of insinuates. I mean, it's going to fuel your day, I think, is basically the way I take it. When I went in, I had an awesome smoothie. There was a torch tuna loin bowl that I had, but I also had this little peanut butter and dark chocolate sort of bar as a dessert there. They also have sandwiches, but it just really is an opportunity where you can go and sort of fuel your day and have some good stuff. It was delicious. So that's called Fuel Canteen.
Is it set up? Is it set up, Dallas, like a traditional high school kind of a canteen?
I don't actually know. What is is that a like a lunchroom?
Yeah, when I'm old. We used to do it a certain way. I wish we had more time to expand on that, but I see we're heading up to the top of the clock. Thanks for joining us, Dallas. I know last night was a tough night, so thanks for taking time to join us this morning, and I hope everything's fine at home.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
CFAX Victoria,
an iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. I'm Lisa Best with your CFAX 1070 news to 9 o'clock. Dramatic scenes filling social media rescue following a seaplane crash off the coast of southern Vancouver Island. 11 people on board.
Officials say that Kenmore air flight took off at 4:30 p.m. from Lake Union Thursday for a scenic flight tour bound for Roche Harbor on San Juan Island. It crashed at 5:15 p.m. Investigators are now working to determine what forced the pilot to attempt an emergency landing in Shallow Bay on Susha Island. Kenmore Air CEO says in a statement, "We are grateful that everyone aboard has been accounted for, and our immediate focus is ensuring our passengers and pilot receive the care and support they need."
Photos and videos shared on the CFAX Twitter feed shows boaters nearby catching the dramatic crash on video and then rushing to the aid of the 11 on board before the plane caught on fire. One person is in critical condition. BC wildfire update. We have 90 fires burning across this province, 43 considered out of control. There's been a number of new fires start on Vancouver Island, but the good news is crews are making good work on a number of them. There was a fire in Goldstream Provincial Park, most likely lightning caused due to the storm that rolled through last night. That was out of control earlier this morning, now being held by crews. It's quite small, well under a hectare in size. Another on the southern tip of Shawnigan Lake area, just west of that also under control, actually being held is the status right now. 2 fires up island, still with the status, new fires of out of control, including that fire burning southwest of Was that's consumed about 6 hectares of land at this point. Photos circulating on social media, those giant orange cauliflower-like clouds, those are called cumulus clouds. They're produced by a massive wildfire burning near Boston Bar. UBC Assistant Professor of Atmospheric Sciences Rachel White says the crazy fact is that when a wildfire gets so large, it can actually produce its own weather systems, and that can actually spawn more thunderstorms with lightning, creating more fires. So crews, of course, working on that. There are a number of highway closures if you're on for a road trip this weekend. Know that Highway 3, a portion of that remains closed between Hope Slide, Sunshine Valley area, close to Manning Park Lodge, and, of course, sections of Highway 1 also closed due to fires burning on both sides of the highway in 2 different sections. Of course, around Boston Bar is the most perilous. The Coquihalla remains open mostly through the southern interior. However, there's construction work, so expect delays. Centre BC recently appointing Mike Bernier as the new leader. You heard him on CFAX earlier this week. He says his party will give voters a more moderate choice.
The former BC Liberal cabinet minister says he returned to politics because of growing polarization in the province. Former Premier Christy Clark says voters are caught between what she calls BC's worst government and an unelectable Conservative leader, arguing there is room for a centrist party. Now, independent MLA Eleanor Sturko says hundreds of thousands of voters are politically homeless, but Centre BC must build a strong organization supported by donations. Now, the BC Conservatives say the province's political culture and first-past-the-post electoral system reinforce a two-party divide. David Augustine, The Canadian Press.
And a day after it fined Google's parent company $1 billion for violating antitrust laws, the EU has decided that TikTok isn't also doing enough to protect kids.
The European Commission says TikTok is in violation of the EU's Landmark Digital Services Act by exposing kids to cyberbullying, unwanted contact, and predatory behavior because it lets adults view the accounts of minors. TikTok will now have the chance to reply to the findings, but if its defense isn't strong enough, the EU could fine it up to 6% of the company's total annual revenue, estimated to be about $25 to $30 billion last year.
On your markets for the final trading day of the week, the TSX in the green, 235 points at 35,427. Our Canadian dollar holding at 71 cents U.S. Today's CFAX 1070 News Poll. Do you agree with BC's continued ban on American alcohol sales at government-run liquor stores? You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or also on the iHeartRadio app. Heading into possibly a moist weekend, mainly sunny today. Windy along the Juan de Fuca Strait, high 3 will feel like 27 with the humidity. Few clouds tonight, chance of showers then, a low 15. Cloudy tomorrow, and showers expected on Sunday.
Hey, it's Adam Sterling. I'm live at 11 a.m., diving into the issues that matter most here in the Capital Region. Right after Vashi Capellos, don't miss it on CFAX 1070 and the all-new iHeart Radio app.
This is the Graham Richardson Show on the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
Hello, everybody. Tim Power sitting in for Graham today. Great to be with you. Hope you're buckled up in the car or sitting next to the radio at home or wherever you might be, because we've got a great show for you today before we get into the weekend, starting with the Friday Five.
The Friday Five.
And of course, no surprise this week because it has dominated the news. We're starting with new tariffs replacing old tariffs. It was a busy week on the tariff file. Yesterday afternoon, the United States announced a new round of tariffs on dozens of countries. These are to replace tariffs that Trump had imposed under a time-limited legal authority after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down his original global tariffs. For Canada, it means 10% duties on most goods, but with an exemption for products covered under CUSMA. The justification for this new round of tariffs is under Section 301 of the U.S. Trade Act, which deals with unfair trading practices. Specifically, the U.S. is accusing countries, including Canada, of not doing enough to prevent forced labor in supply chains. Here's how U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer explained it in an interview with CNN.
Even if you're a country that probably doesn't have forced labor yourself, if you're allowing the import of goods made with forced labor, that makes it harder for my goods to compete because we're following labor rules in the U.S. We have labor unions. We have protections for our workers. And so we're trying to get every country to have the same kinds of protections we do to make sure that trade in forced labor isn't occurring so that our workers